Can we just wrap up 2022 already? Live from New York City this morning. Good morning, good morning. Three-day losing streak on the S&P 500. Trying to bounce back. The countdown to the open starts right now.
Everything you need to get set for the start of U.S. trading. This is Bloomberg, The Open, with Jonathan Farrow.
Live from New York City, we begin with the big issue, looking out to 2023. Twitter might be looking for new leadership. Mike Wilson thinks we're facing a major profit drop as investors obsess over the timing of one thing.
Recession.
Data are suggesting that a global recession is likely into 2023.
The most forecast recession ever.
General consensus is for a mild recession.
The Fed is still avoiding the R word.
They've lowered their GDP to 0.5. That's as close to a recession as they ever get.
A 4.6% unemployment rate projected for next year with no cuts. 4.6 would be a recession.
We've got 75 basis points worth of hikes left in the dot plot.
They will likely engineer recessions.
That will be needed to bring inflation back to 2%.
The labour market will be crucial.
All comes down to inflation.
It's all about whether the market can sort of look through the valley of weakening earnings.
We're bracing ourselves. Yes, it's going to slow, but who knows when?
Who knows when? Let's have that discussion right now with Flowbank's Esty Tweck, Matt Miskin of John Hancock. Esty, first to you. Here's a refreshing take. Do you think growth can hold up next year?
Well, not necessarily if the latest dot plot materializes and we get another 75 basis points of hikes next year that the market doesn't believe is going to materialize. But we are starting from a higher level than expected. The jobs market is softening, but still holding up a little bit. Corporate and consumer balance sheets are in better health. So I think a deep and long recession is not the base case scenario. Now, can it hold up enough to have no negative growth? That's the big question. But maybe it won't be as negative as what the consensus is looking for today.
Matt Miskin, do you agree?
We actually see downside risk to the outlook into 2023. The central banks are tightening. That is going to be the #1 driver of macro next year in our view, with a lagged impact. And now it's more synchronized. So the ECB last week, you were talking about this morning, John, that was the shocker to me, just how hawkish Lagarde has gotten. And it's like the shootout last night, or yesterday, sorry, in terms of the game yesterday, that was just amazing. But, in terms of Argentina taking those shots, it's just, you don't have to put a lot on the ball right now. You just got to get in the net. Couple even rate hikes at 25 basis points into 2023, we think is going to bring down inflation for the Fed and is going to actually disappoint, it's going to be beneficial, but it's going to go on the downside in our view into 2023.
Matt, don't encourage me. We'll talk about the World Cup all day otherwise. Let's focus on the Fed. The Federal Reserve is saying no cuts in 23. Matt, you're calling for cuts. Why are they wrong?
Because if you look at inflation right now and the comps we're going to go against. So this time last year is when inflation really went parabolic. And then you had the Russia-Ukraine war where oil prices, gas prices really rose. That's the comps we're going to be going against in the first quarter. If inflation rises like it did over last month, 0.1% month over month, and you do the calculation and you bring that into next year, we are sub 2% on headline inflation in June of 2023. Bespoke Investment Group did a great chart on this on Twitter. I think it's just some of the best research that's out there, and it's not being priced in. It's not being talked about. And if that materializes, the Fed is way off sides.
That's the growth outlook,
off sides, but we won't do that, John. That's another thing that could really bring markets to change tune into 2023.
That's the CPI outlook, rather, Matt. Can we talk about the growth outlook? Jobless claims were at 211, Matt. 211,000 Thursday morning. Matt, what are the signs that you think we're heading into recession here?
When jobless claims go up, it's a great coincident indicator. But when that goes up, it's too late. The Fed is already going to be behind the curve on that pace. And Right now, we're starting to hear the layoff announcements are coming in. The Challenger job, Christmas job, the jobs data coming out is showing that layoff announcements are picking up. But you're right, it hasn't shown up week over week. We don't think we're in a recession yet, but we do see that coming soon into 2023 in the first couple months. And when that happens, the Fed's going to have to pivot real fast.
SD, why do you think Matt might be wrong?
Well, I agree that inflation is going to come down faster than what the Fed is pricing in. We are seeing job openings start to soften. I agree that the layoff announcements are going to keep coming, and that is just going to deteriorate into next year. I think there are a lot of other factors, including the excess savings, including healthier balance sheets, pretty much across the board, that are going to help hold up a little bit better than this big recession that Matt is talking about. But we still don't know how many lagged effects we're going to have from all the rate hikes of 2022. So I think that's also why I don't expect the Fed to hike as much as what they're trying to tell us today. We're getting to a very tough period for the Fed where they don't want to keep hiking so much because they know they're going to have lagged effects. They see these layoff announcements as well. On inflation, they don't seem to want to admit that they're going to start seeing it soon as well. But at the same time, those financial conditions, anytime the market starts to think about a pause, they're loosening, and they need to keep those financial conditions tight, and they need to make sure they find a way to convince the market that a pause is still restrictive policy and that they're not close to a pivot. And that's going to be a very difficult messaging balancing act, and they haven't seemed to found that yet.
So, SD, this is the call on the economy, on the Fed. Give me your call on the market.
Well, for the market, I think the beginning of the year stays complicated. Every time we've rallied, we've had another central bank scare us. In this case, it was the ECB, not the one everyone thought would be the hawkish surprise of December. The markets are really struggling to get above this 4,100 level on the S&P 500. And there are a lot of question marks about earnings expectations. Earnings expectations are pretty much all over the map for next year, anywhere from 230 to 200, again, for the S&P 500. So a lot of question marks there. I think downside for earnings is already priced in, but we do have the risk that either inflation doesn't come down as fast as we think, or that growth comes down faster than we think, and that brings earnings expectations towards that lower end of the consensus, and that can make for a very bumpy start of the year. But for 2023 as a whole, I think we'll still have a positive year and positive returns.
Let's just sit on that earnings point just a little bit longer. Mike Wilson of Morgan Stanley has this to say: rates and inflation may have peaked, but we see that as a warning sign for profitability, a reality we believe is still underappreciated but can no longer be ignored. We'll catch up with Mike in about 20 minutes from now. Matt Miskin, which side are you on here? SD Dweck, who says a lot of this is priced in, or Mike Wilson, who says there's some real pain to come on the earnings side that's going to take this equity market down in the first half?
We see earnings growth likely to continue to moderate here, and earnings estimates are still way too high in our view. So we're, the street's looking for about 5% to close out this year, and then we go into next year and still looking for 5% earnings growth. We think that's unrealistic, given even a shallow recession. On average, a recession brings earnings decline of 25 to 30%. We are down about 4 to 5% off the peak. So earnings were really brought forward here over the last couple of years, and you just saw a massive earnings growth environment because of so much fiscal stimulus. Well, when you remove that fiscal stimulus and you add higher cost of capital, well, that's going to hurt the earnings picture. The central banks are almost being the Grinches here as it relates to the cost of capital going into 2023, and that's going to crimp margins. So in our view, you've got to find higher quality companies that don't need money, that don't need to go to the capital markets to survive. You want to use the value exposure. I think one of the things we're realizing more is there's too much remnants of 1999 type over valuation in the market. You've got to be more valuation sensitive going into next year as a defensive factor. and then lower volatility as well. Three main factors: quality, value, and lower volatility as our three favorites into next year.
Esty, what do you say back to that?
Well, to some extent, the fact that everyone is saying that earnings expectations have to come down is the sign that we're already pricing in, even if that consensus number isn't as low as some would say. We know these earnings have to come down to some extent, and I think that part could be manageable. But I agree the first half is going to be volatile. It's going to be bumpy with still a lot of risks, especially around central banks. I agree with quality for sure. I think some of these defensive sectors continue, at least for now, and then we'll do better later. I think that once we have a peak in the dollar, that will also be actually a tailwind for earnings at some point next year. Then we get a peak in yields, which I think we've seen. At some point, we'll start to have a slightly better outlook for earnings for the tech sector, and that can help pull markets higher as well.
So, Esty, do you think the leadership comes from the tech sector? Is that where the outperformance is on the sector side? And for that matter, on the regional basis, just geographically, is it US outperformance again, tech outperformance again for you?
It's US outperformance because the outlook elsewhere is really not great, and Europe has so many challenges, including a very hawkish ECB. But the growth picture for Europe is much more complicated than what they mentioned at the press conference, and the energy crisis is not going to get better. If we get through this winter with the storage levels, it's going to be tough to fill up next year. So a lot of difficulty for Europe, and maybe not all of that. People thinking the worst is behind us there, and I don't think that it is. So US for sure. I'm not sure the leadership comes from tech. Certainly not at the beginning of the year, but I think at some point later in the year, we should see at least an improvement and a sustainability there, and that should help the U.S. for sure. It should at least benefit from that U.S. outperformance as well.
Matt Miskin, 1 point there, U.S. outperformance. Your reaction?
Well, so first, Europe's actually the best performing part of the global markets this year now. And just to clarify, it's just been amazing to watch Europe this quarter, and it's really taken on more of a leadership role. I do think next year technology comes back, quality growth. You just got to be careful, though, and know what you own, because consumer discretionary, for example, has two stocks at the top, very highly valued. Communication services, not as high quality as it once was. So pure tech we do like. We're barbelling that with healthcare and utilities, more defensive, still high quality in healthcare, parts of the market to round that out.
We're all looking at the same market, two very different views here. Matt, when you go into uncertain times, you try and lean on history as some kind of guide. Jim Paulson of Luthold Group said this. I'd love your thoughts on it. He said since 1950, the S&P 500 has posted a total return of 13% on average over the next 12 months, following 13 major inflation peaks. Matt Miskin, is it different this time? Is history a good guide?
Well, first, I want to congratulate Jim on his retirement. Quite a career. Look up to him as just a great strategist over the years. But I think what you have to do is you have to look at the Fed as a response to that. And with the Fed still raising rates, you don't want to fight the central banks in terms of going into 2023. The raising of the rates this year, the quantitative tightening that's going to be going on, even in the first quarter of next year, is going to have a lagged impact. So I do think inflation coming down is great. I think that's going to be great for the bond market, and that's why we are more bullish on bonds, high-quality bonds, 5 to 6% yields. We really like that in the first half of this year into 2023. But wait on equities, be patient. We think there's going to be a great buying opportunity in 2023. But we want to get income and get paid to wait until that opportunity really arises.
Two things. Number one, with regards to Jim Paulson, I'd like to echo that sentiment. Tremendous guy, absolutely legend. And number two, Esty Dweck, I'd like you to have the final word on this.
Well, I have to agree on the second half outlook and on the full year. Everyone seems to be in agreement that yields have probably peaked, and that's supportive for the bond market. And it certainly feels like an easier allocation to make today than going back full into equities. Now, whether you average in over the next few months or you wait hoping for another low in the first half of the year, it sounds like Matt agrees that we are going to have a more constructive year for equity markets over next year. And if inflation comes down, that means the market, the market is a forward discounting mechanism. They're going to start to price in that Fed pause, even potentially a Fed pivot, since the market refuses to price out those Q4 2023 rate cuts. And that ultimately will be supportive for equity markets.
It's supposed to be the anticipatory asset class. We'll have that conversation with Mike Wilson of Morgan Stanley. SD2 Matt Miskin sticking with us. Yields breaking out this morning on a 10-year by 8 or 9 basis points. On a 10-year right now, 357. At the front end, the 2-year up by 4 basis points, getting back to 422. And equities rolling over now, basically unchanged on the day. On the S&P 500, the open about 16 minutes away. Coming up, China pledging to boost its economy.
In the first quarter, we may still see quite weak economic growth, but from second quarter, if the macro policy continue to be supportive, we may see a rebound of activity.
That conversation up next.
In the first quarter, we may still see quite weak economic growth, but from second quarter, if the macro policy continue to be supportive, which is also kind of confirmed in the Central Economic Conference, we may see a rebound of activity. The policy pivot, both in terms of COVID control and also the property sector, those are very important.
China shifting its focus towards boosting the economy next year. The country's top leaders hinting at pro-business policies. This coming amid growing suspicion China is hiding the true cost of reopening. The country reporting only 2 deaths since COVID-0 was abandoned earlier this month. Team coverage, great panel here. Joins us right now, Bloomberg's Alan Wan in Shanghai, alongside Demid Sasa here in New York. Alan, first to you. Can you just give us an idea of what's happening across the country right now?
Well, here in Shanghai, we're experiencing, just a wave of infections, just like in Beijing. But the most interesting thing is, like you just said, that right now there's only been 2 deaths reported over the weekend since the end of COVID-0, and it's kind of hard to fathom, given what we're seeing on the ground ourselves, what the media has been reporting, and the history of other countries, other Western countries, that have higher vaccination rates and the number of fatalities they had, in similar circumstances. But going to that Beijing sanatorium, we actually went to visit today, and there were tons of police and security guards outside, sort of blocking, media from coming in. And this comes after the Wall Street Journal reported on Friday that they saw, they were told that from an employee that they were getting 200 bodies a day arriving every day, up from 30 before. And also FT reported last week that they saw 30 bodies being cremated a day. So you have all these these reports from Western media, and they're interviewing some staff who work at the sanatorium. That sort of flies in the face of what we know. So that begs the question: what's going on right now? I mean, basically, the government is trying to sort of play down the number of deaths because it's been trumpeting how it's been able to keep fatalities at a very low rate, showing the superiority of the communist system. And right now, since the end of COVID-0, they're trying to sort of move the definition around. So we're hearing that officials are right now trying to narrow the definition for what is a COVID death, attributing it to other symptoms.
There's certainly a disconnect right now between the reports and the data that we see. To Alan's point, Damien, the reliability of the data is really important here. Yeah. We need to get a decent picture, an idea of how this reopening is going to go over the next couple of quarters.
Well, I'll give you some numbers, Jonathan. 5,200 deaths. That's the official tally of deaths in China since COVID started back in 2019. By comparison, and by the way, China's got, what, 1.4, 1.5 billion people. The U.S., 330 million people, 1.1 million deaths. So it's the way it's being counted, obviously. And they just changed, as Alan was alluding to, the way they count a COVID death right now, right? They changed that on December 6th. So forget the numbers. The numbers are meaningless. You know, if you just look at Hong Kong, which has 7.4 million people, they already have, 3 times the amount that China does in terms of deaths that are reported. I think we have to focus on what's going to happen tonight, right? We got to focus on what came out Friday out of Beijing, the Economic Work Conference. They want to, stimulate the economy. They want to stabilize the property sector, and we'll probably see the 5-year LPR come in about 10 basis points tonight. That's basically designed to help the property sector, to help lending to the property sector, which, as we all know, is off considerably this year, and that's the canary in the coal mine, in my opinion.
Easier said than done. Seems to be the conclusion here, gents. Damien Sasser, Alan Wan, to the both of you, thank you. I want to get a final word to John Hancock's Matt Miskin, downplaying the economic impact of China's reopening and saying the following: the China reopening narrative is not a sturdy bull case for risk assets in our view, given the challenges still to come. Matt Miskin, can you build on that for us?
Yeah, so the cost of capital is going up, and if they're going to need to use more leverage, more debt to stimulate the economy right now, and we think they are going to, then that's going to be expensive, frankly. And right now, the challenges, it's heartbreaking, and to watch, but the markets have already run with this. So in material sectors, the best performing sector in the fourth quarter, energy, industrials. You look at some of the China plays, industrial companies, even the U.S., the ones that are really in more the, kind of backhoe, I can't use an exact stock name, but industrial companies that usually export to China are booming. They're up 40% this quarter. And I think you have to look at that and say you've already come a long way in repricing this reopening. But if it doesn't come in smoothly and the rest of the world's raising rates and slowing growth, that's going to probably dampen China growth as well. And so we would trim into strength of much of the non-U.S. equity market that has just rallied on this news and redeploy into higher quality, more defensive assets.
Esti Dweck, how are you thinking about this story?
We've clearly priced in a lot of the good news and a lot of the reopening expectations for China. So we've seen a massive rally in the last couple of months, and that for now might be a little bit played out. But I don't think China can afford to have weakness in terms of the health side, and we know the reopening is going to be complicated, as as it was just mentioned on the show. So they're going to have to show commitment to growth, to the real estate sector. They're moving away from the regulatory crackdown. And the more we get confidence that that crackdown is ending, or that they're serious about these supports for the economy, I think we'll get more confidence in the market. The Chinese markets are still very cheap on a historical basis, and that suggests there's probably more room higher, but it's maybe not quite as obvious a trade as it was a couple of months ago.
Esti Dweck, Matt Miskin, to the both of you, thank you. Just saving 20 seconds for Damien Sasser to jump back in on that. Beautiful commercial yesterday, Damien, for football. Oh, what a final.
So, Jonathan, this is where Fox really lost me yesterday. As soon as the finals were over,
cut away.
They cut away, Jonathan. They cut right away to American football, which, look, I'm a huge football fan. I'm outward about that. But, I wanted to see Messi hug his mom. I wanted to see him and Mbappe embrace. I wanted to see him change shirts. We got to see none of that. I was looking around.
You had to change the channel. I had to do the same thing.
I couldn't find it.
Ridiculous. Damien, thank you, buddy. Always great. Coming up, the morning calls and later, Morgan Stanley's Mike Wilson warning about a major drop in profits next year. Live from New York, let's get you some morning calls. First up, MoffettNathanson upgrading Verizon to market perform, seeing an attractive valuation after underperforming its peers. Jefferies upgrading Moderna to a buy, expecting shares to rebound after the company's pipeline opportunities. And finally, Oppenheimer downgrading Tesla to market perform, saying negative Twitter sentiment could become an ongoing overhang. Tesla up by 2.7%. Coming up, much more on Tesla and Twitter with Dan Ives of Wedbush. Plus, Morgan Stanley's Mike Wilson sounding the alarm on US profits. That conversation up next. Live from New York this Monday morning. Good morning to you all. Three-day losing streak on the S&P, trying to bounce back by not even 1/10% on S&P 500. Futures right now up by 0.04%. On the Nasdaq at the moment, up by almost 1/10%. On the S&P, 2 weekly losses. Can we snap that streak? There's the opening bell, switch of the board and get to the bond market. Yields look a little something like this. On a 10-year, up 8 basis points. The yield this morning, 355.89. In the FX market, euro dollar holding on to 106, just like the 10 years, just about holding on to 350. 106.10 on euro dollar, up by 0.2%, and crude 75.71, approaching 76, up by 1.9% on the session. 20 seconds into the opening bell, we are completely unchanged on the S&P, and I have to say on the Nasdaq, almost completely unchanged as well. One stock to watch at the open this morning, Tesla, and that stock is not unchanged. Elon Musk asking users in a Twitter poll whether he should step down as CEO, with more than 57% of the participants favouring his resignation. Ed Bladlow on the West Coast with more. Morning, Ed.
Yeah, good morning, Jonathan. I mean, I've made a request for comment to Elon Musk. I've written to him to ask if he's going to follow through with this. He has not responded. Some of the other key names involved as well, we've written to and asked them if they're being serious in their offers to take over the role of leading Twitter. And of course, we haven't had any response. We're up 2% on Tesla. I'd point out this is a stock that was down 8 of the last 10 sessions as of Friday's close and was trading at a 3-week low. Also a gain of 1.5% now, John, is nowhere near sort of some of the positivity, the exuberance we saw in the pre-market. It was interesting, the New York Times reporting in the last 24 hours that Elizabeth Warren wrote to Tesla's board over the weekend, raising concerns that Musk's actions and leadership at Twitter had been harmful to Tesla investors. As you and I have been saying for days and days, I have a sort of sense of deja vu. Many retail and institutional investors voting with their feet, of course, and clearly they wanted some resolution to this. I would also just finally point out, John, that Musk did say in the heat of the battle with Twitter when he was trying to walk away from the deal that were it to go through, he had always planned to only temporarily lead Twitter as CEO and find someone in the long term. But he's now also tweeting that that person does not exist. That person, no one wants the job that's actually able to keep it alive, are his words. So one to watch.
Ed, we're going to have a longer conversation about this in about 10 minutes. Looking forward to it. Some Tesla bulls are happy about this, including Dan Ives of Wedbush. We're going to catch up with Dan Ives in about 15 minutes' time on this programme. Looking forward to that as well. Another stock, Meta, hit with antitrust charges. The EU Antitrust Commissioner expressing concern over its marketplace service, writing, quote, Facebook users have no choice but to have access to Facebook Marketplace. Abby has more. Hey, Abby.
Hey, John. Well, yes, the EU is continuing to go after Meta platforms. This, of course, after those antitrust watchdogs basically alleged this complaint saying that they allegedly squeezed out classified ad rivals by tying their Facebook Marketplace to their own social network. So basically a monopoly type charge. This latest complaint, of course, paves the potential for a change to their business model. A quarter of their revenues do come from Europe. This is advertising revenue. Not surprisingly, Meta is saying that these claims are without foundation. Now, what makes this so interesting, and there you can see that revenue breakdown and that big portion coming out of Europe. What makes this so interesting is the bigger trend here, of course, is the EU's crackdown on U.S. big tech, Apple, Alphabet, Amazon. Now, just a couple of weeks ago, if you recall, the EU told Meta, EU privacy regulators told Meta that they cannot use content data to provide personalized ads. The stock dropped about 8% on that. Right now, we have Meta down about 2%, so not as much. But on the year, though, John, this and other big tech companies losing a ton of market cap. Meta more than $600 billion. That translates to a 65% drop. You have to wonder if some are potentially bottom fishing. It's also interesting because today we do have the EU poised to settle with Amazon on a similar charge. And one bright note, maybe the EU is wrapping up another probe on the advertising pact between Meta and Alphabet. So many moving pieces here. But again, you have to wonder at some point, are folks going to be interested in Meta? Not today.
Abby, when does tech get a break? When on earth does it get a break?
Yeah, it's hard to know. I think one piece of it could, of course, be yields popping up a little bit today, but with that 10-year yield closer to 3.5%, it provides a little bit of room. But this looming recession, the possibility that profits are going to get hit, it seems as though tech and that monster rally out of the pandemic low continues to make them vulnerable.
Abby, thank you. I want to head back over to Ed Ludlow, who mentioned that letter from Senator Warren to the board of Tesla. Ed, can I come back to you on that? Because I think we need to build out that story just a little bit more. What is Senator Warren trying to find out?
Well, I think Senator Warren is trying to find out where Elon Musk's priorities lie. You know, from the reporting we've seen, of course, her interest is probably in the everyday investor. But as you and I discuss very regularly, the retail investor is not just a key holder of Tesla shares, but a key part of the story. You know, the mega bulls are those that have owned the vehicles. And in her letter to the board, you know, she basically points out, has there been harm done? If you look at the performance of Tesla shares since October 28th, when the deal to buy Twitter closed, it has trailed the NASDAQ 100, which is basically flat. Tesla's down in excess of 30%. The S&P 500 down, I think, around 17% in that time. Again, John, all I can tell you is that I wrote to Tesla's investor relations team because there's no mechanism for me to write to a press team. That doesn't exist, and Tesla's IR team has not responded. But I basically said, what is Tesla's and the board's reaction to this letter? Do you agree with what Elizabeth Warren is outlining, that harm has been done to Tesla shareholders because Musk has not been focused on that company? Those gains fading this morning on Tesla, 150.59. Ed, thank you. That stock is up by 0.2%. Here are some dates for the diary. January 6th, payrolls. On the 12th, you get CPI. In January, day after earnings season really kicks off, the 13th, that's when you get JP Morgan. Mike Wilson of Morgan Stanley thinks it's all about earnings in early next year. This is what he had to say. Rates and inflation may have peaked, but we see that as a warning sign for profitability, a reality we believe is still underappreciated but can no longer be ignored. Mike Wilson, I'm pleased to say, joins us right now. Now, Mike, I couldn't ignore this in the note, and thanks for being with us. When you mentioned 2008, I think you get everyone's attention. You said this: we offer further comparisons to August 2008. Mike, can we start there? What are the comparisons between now and back then?
Well, good morning, John. Yeah, I mean, the main one that we're trying to put forth is that our earnings model, which, as you know, we spent a lot of time focused on, the spread between our forecast now and what the consensus is modeling for next year is as wide as we have seen since the summer of 08. Okay, so in other words, we're looking for an earnings recession that could be as big of a surprise to the market as it was in 08. Now, what we're not looking for, and I'll make it perfectly clear on this, is a balance sheet recession, a systemic risk fall off like we saw in the fall of 08. So it's very distinguished, but it doesn't mean that there's still not a lot of price risk here. Okay, this is where we think we're out of consensus now and where we have high conviction. So a year ago, it was really about the Fed and the normalization of rates. And now this is the second part of our thesis. As you know well, the ICE part is now really kicking in. And there's this sort of presumption out there from our conversations with clients that everybody knows that earnings are going to be bad next year and the market's already priced it. And we're just putting this warning out for folks who assume the market is omnipotent and it knows this. The market typically doesn't know these types of earnings declines before they happen. So that's the risk now, if we're right. Okay, we have conviction in our view. We could be wrong about that, but that's that's our work. And we think that this rally that we've had, which we identified and then got out of 2 weeks ago, we think that the technical price action last week was confirmation that rally is not only over, but it's about to exert itself on the downside again in a meaningful way.
Mike, can you explain what's behind that conviction? These are earnings for the quarter we're in right now. This is 4Q to be reported in the first quarter of next year. What's behind that conviction, Mike? What do you see that's developing that maybe other people are missing?
I don't think I see anything that's that different, John. It's just the way we put it together. So remember, our forecast I'm talking about is for the next 12 months. Everybody focuses on this quarter, but the market doesn't care about this quarter's earnings. It never does. It cares about what's going to happen over the next 12 months. That's what the market really focuses on and tries to figure out. In our model, we've got 30 years of history of this thing. It does a really good job of using data that's already out there, mostly top-down data. Some of that's survey data, soft data, as we like to call it, that leads to hard data. And, the R squared on this thing is 80%. So it doesn't mean it's infallible, but it's pretty darn close. And when the spread is this wide, you really want to pay attention to it. When the spread's 5%, it's like, that's kind of noise. The spread's 25%. So that tells us that, this is probably not in the price.
Are you expecting to hear this in the guidance then pretty early on in earnings season? Mike, you know how the arc of earnings season works. The banks go first, then you hear from the tech players a little bit further down the line. Where would you expect to hear this guidance in the arc of earnings season as it kicks off in mid-January?
Yeah, that's what's different between the fourth quarter reporting season and the third quarter. And this is one of the reasons we backed off our bearish view in October was we said, look, we're not going to get capitulation on 23 forecast because there's no incentive for companies to guide on 2023 in October. However, now as you start a new year, right, they're compelled to say something because if they don't say anything, then people lose confidence that they know what's going to happen. So I think there is a much higher likelihood that companies acknowledge what we already know and what they know. Okay, companies do know that things are getting rough out there. You look at corporate confidence. This is one of the things we compared in the note today. CEO confidence is as low as it's been really in history. So that tells you their confidence level about next year is not particularly great. And that should come through in the guidance in January and February more so than it did in the last couple of quarters when they're not compelled to talk about the 12-month outlook.
Mike, I'm interested in where you think the earnings story may hold up. We caught up with Bank of America's Savita Subramaniam a little bit earlier this morning. She had this to say in a note she put out in the last week. She said, throw out the US recession playbook. It's different this time. Oil companies have capital discipline. Then she went on to say this about banks. Credit risk may be more evident at venture capital, private equity and long-duration growth plays than at regulated banks. Mike, can you speak to that? Just the nature of the downturn you expect in earnings and the parts of the equity market you think will get hit hardest?
Yeah, look, the good news is, I would say, is it's the areas where the over-earning was the greatest, which is, core to our thesis about, the earnings reset. That's already happened. So like consumer durables, some of the technology areas, we've seen 25% revisions to next year's numbers. Now we think it'll continue to be bad because the over-earning was so extraordinary. And that's really the main message in our work, John, is that the margin expectations are just way out of bounds because companies had a windfall profit. That's not necessarily emblematic of one particular industry, right? COVID, it was a horrible human event. It was actually a windfall for corporate profits, and it was a windfall for investors. And that's all being wrung out now, first with rates and now with the earnings that were over-earning. So I think it's very broad. I don't think it's one or two sectors. I think we saw over-earning across the economy, and that has to play through. And I'll push back a little bit on the energy piece. I agree that energy is in a better position than it's been historically speaking because of that capital discipline. But if we actually end up having a labor cycle, we think it's 50-50 on that. That's when oil prices probably have their final move lower. The stocks won't trade well, even if the fundamentals haven't changed that much on a forward, curve basis of 2 or 3 years. The market isn't going to be willing to look through that. And that's generally our take as well, as we think people are being complacent about looking through an earnings recession that's going to be quite severe. And we'll see how they feel when we're in the middle of it.
So, Mike, can we talk about downside here? 3850 right now on the screen on the S&P. You're thinking closer to 3K as a bottom for next year?
And John, we've been very consistent about that, right? We've been in this sort of 3,000 to 3,300 range since really May. When we put our mid-year outlook out. That's the path, and we think that's still the path. And I would say that we now believe we could get to the lower end of that path simply because you worked off kind of this bearishness in the last 2 months. The bear market rally we had did its job, right? Its job is to it's like a 3-card Monte. Look over here, and then all of a sudden you forget about looking over on this one. And then that's when you get surprised. So, the setup's good for a finishing move to this bear market. That's the bad thing. The good thing is we're closer to the end than the beginning.
Mike, as you get more bearish on earnings, do you get more bullish on bonds?
Well, yeah, we've been bullish on bonds since the summer. We were probably a little early on that call, but it's worked out pretty well. I think, that's one thing that's different too this time, John, whereas like in 08, we're not going to have a systemic risk like we had in 08. In our view, anything's possible. That's our general take right now. That's good. However, the Fed cannot be as accommodative, right, as they have been historically because of this underlying inflationary issue, which is new in the investment community for the last 30 years. So that's one other thing to be watching closely in the spring. How fast does the cavalry come riding in, even in the event of a labor cycle? I think they're going to be slower. They've told us that. And that could be the surprise and why we can get to those lower price levels on the S&P 500.
Mike Wilson, just awesome this morning and through the whole of this year. Congrats to you and the team. I've said that a few times this year, haven't I, Mike? We appreciate your time this morning. Thank you. Mike Wilson there of Morgan Stanley. Coming up, Twitter. Twitter users voting against Elon Musk.
The moves that he's making with Twitter are just destroying brand value. I think it should give anyone pause about the future of Twitter's trajectory.
Dan Ives of Wedbush up next.
This is Bloomberg's The Open. I'm Lisa Mateo, live in the principal room. Coming up, Ed Morse, global head of commodities research at Citigroup. That conversation at 10:30 a.m. Eastern, 3:30 p.m. in London. This is Bloomberg.
My prediction for Twitter has long been that it's not going to die overnight, but that it will become more broken and more stupid. And I think that's what we're seeing play out. And that as a result, people will find other places that they want to hang out. They're simply not going to want to be on a service where the main character every day is Elon Musk, and it's simply tracking, what new shenanigans that he's gotten up to and what policies he's decided to invent out of pique and anger.
Twitter users voting in favour of Elon Musk's resignation after tweeting out a poll saying, should I step down as the head of Twitter? I will abide by the results of this poll. Well, the results giving shares of Tesla a boost in anticipation of Musk shifting his focus back to the firm. Ed Ludlow out of London with more. Hey, Ed.
Yeah, good morning, John. I mean, part of the downward pressure on Tesla shares since October 28th has certainly been the idea of key man risk. By his own admission, Musk has been much more focused on Twitter at times than he has on Tesla. Of course, the other part of the downward pressure is Musk selling billions of dollars of that stock, in part to kind of shore up his finances in buying the company. You'll remember as well, Bloomberg reported just in the last 10 days that some of the unsecured debt lined up to finance that package was swapped out in favor of margin loans secured against potentially Tesla shares or SpaceX shares, though we weren't sure if that actual part of the deal was completed. I think, John, for me, and I'd love your take on it as well, is, well, if he does step down, what happens to the platform? He did say originally he'd only lead the firm temporarily and then install somebody when he found them. But since launching that poll, and he said he'll honour the result, he's also said that there is no one out there that is willing to take the job and that can also do it in a way that keeps Twitter alive.
Well, I think he raises a good question, and it answers yours. Who is that person and where do they come from? Ed Ludlow, thank you. This conversation is going to go on and on and on into next year, no doubt. Dan Ives of Wedbush has this to say. It appears Musk's reign as CEO of Twitter will come to an end and thus be a major positive for Tesla's stock, starting to slowly remove this albatross from the story. We remain our outperform rating and ultimately view this as a major step towards going forward, with Musk finally reading the room. Dan Ives joins us now. Dan, let's talk about that call from you. Do we have a leadership problem at Tesla or a macro problem?
I think right now it's really been more of a leadership problem. I think that's been a big overhang on Tesla, not just because of the essentially Musk using Tesla's personal ATM machine, but it's about the attention focused on Twitter as this twilight zone continues to, go on. And that's really been, I think, 70, 80% of the sell-off in Tesla is Twitter driven.
Dan, why do you believe, though, just replacing him as leader at Twitter changes anything about this story?
Well, I think it's a step in the right direction. It clearly doesn't change the overall story because Musk still owns Twitter. It's going to go down as probably the biggest, I'd say, overpaid M&A deal in the history of tech. But you got to make sure that ultimately you get a pilot on the plane to navigate some of these challenges. That's going to be the key. It's been this black cloud over the Tesla story, but I just view it as at least a small step in the right direction. But the overall train wreck situation at Twitter remains unchanged.
So, Dan, let's talk about that just a little bit more. You saw the letter from Senator Warren, I assume, off the back of the New York Times reporting a little bit earlier this morning. Read as follows. In a letter to Tesla's board, the Democratic senator asked whether investors have been harmed by the billionaire tech mogul's time running the social network. Dan, what do you make of that?
I think the biggest overhang on Tesla, as we've talked about many times, is Twitter. I mean, it's a $44 billion epic mistake by Musk. And I think right now it's really been a quicksand situation. It's hurt the brand of Musk, which has hurt the brand of Tesla, because Musk is Tesla, Tesla is Musk. And I think right now, ultimately the clock struck midnight for investors, for users, especially a lot of the fiasco that we've seen over the last week. And I think, patience is really wearing thin here.
Dan, challenging macro environment, leadership issues that you've talked about repeatedly, yet you still maintain that outperform rating on a stock. Dan, why?
It's our view of where electric vehicles are going over the next 1 to 2 years and beyond that. I mean, Tesla continues to be the massive leadership position there. I think it's one of the most transformational companies along with Apple. So I believe it's oversold here fundamentally in terms of our view there. But no doubt, in the near term, this is a Category 5 storm that's Musk-inflicted that needs to end.
Dan Ives of Wedbush. Dan, we'll be in touch soon, no doubt, on the latest with regards to Tesla. That stock is up by only 1.6% off the back of this. The broader market down about 0.4% on the S&P. On the Nasdaq, down 0.8%. Talked a lot about that bond market. Yields up this morning by 10 basis points on a 10-year to 3.58, on a 2-year up 5 basis points to 4.22. With a sector price action, here's Abby.
Well, John, that yield action that you're outlining, it is one piece of the sector action because not surprisingly, some of those high growth, high valuation tech stocks, well, they're on bottom. Tech itself is down almost 1%. Communication services, some of the other mega cap technology names down about 1%. And I believe that the board we're looking at here, actually, I'm not sure what that one not classified is, but in any case, because I saw the minus 13%, we're down 1% for the worst sector. The best sector, though, energy up 0.5%. That has to do, of course, with oil. And then with yields higher, it's interesting that consumer staples, a high dividend yielding sector, it's up. Banks also being helped by yields higher. Now, one subsector that's not doing so well today, casinos down about 2% overall. This, of course, after JP Morgan is saying that the license renewals for Macau could prompt a sell-off. And this has to do, John, with the fact that over the last couple of weeks, up 65%, sell the good news.
Abby, thank you. That's the price action on a sector basis. Your trading diary up next. Day 4 days of losses on the S&P. We're down 0.4% on the S&P 500. On the Nasdaq, we're down by 0.75%. The backdrop in the bond market, yields up right the way through the curve. 2s out to 30s. Yields higher by 5 basis points on a 2-year, 4.22. On a 10-year, up by 10 basis points. 358. That's the price action. Here's the trading diary. The White House holding its daily news conference, 2:30 Eastern. Earnings from Nike, FedEx on Tuesday, plus a BOJ rate decision and U.S. housing starts. Existing home sales and consumer confidence coming on Wednesday, followed by U.S. GDP, core PCE, and another round of jobless claims on Thursday. And finally, if you're still around, personal income and spending numbers. UMich Consumer Sentiment Survey, durable goods to round out the week on Friday. From New York, thank you for choosing Bloomberg TV. This was the countdown to the open. This is Bloomberg.
Audio Jungle.
Mary redeemed a $50,000 cash prize playing Chumba Casino this year.
I was only playing for fun, so winning this was a dream come true.
Chumba Casino is America's #1 social casino experience. It's serious fun. With over 80 casino-style games to choose from, you too could win life-changing amounts of cash. Be like Mary. Log on to ChumbaCasino.com and give them a whirl. That's ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. Void or prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details. The voice in the preceding commercial was not the actual voice of a winner. The Triple B podcast would like to invite you to come break bread with your brothers. If you like what you're hearing on the show, if you think we missed the mark, or if we got it all wrong, reach out to us on social media. We can be reached on Twitter at triple_B_pod or search Brothers Breaking Bread Podcast. We are the Brothers Breaking Bread on Facebook, and our email is brothersbreakingbreadpod@gmail.com. Further descriptions are in the show notes. Like, follow, friend, do all that good stuff, and please never forget to break bread with your brothers.
Hold on, dog. Why ain't my camera on? Hold up, Skype.
My bad, I was finishing up a phone call.
Are you good? I'm just doing my usual fucking with people. Why is my camera not on?
You gotta take the tape off of it.
Ain't no tape on it though. I don't know what's happening.
I don't know.
Oh, I see what's happening. Haha.
You know what you have in front of you is called a laptop, and what it does, there's lots of things it can do, and at the top there's a camera.
Why are you vagina-splaining to me?
Settings, and so settings you may be able to go to find information about.
I just changed it. Why are you vagina-splaining? Why are you vagina-splaining to me? Instead of man-splaining, vagina-splaining. Don't do that. Hi, ma'am.
That was we're recording, right? Because that was lovely. I liked the vagina splaining. It was.
You like that vagina splaining?
The tone was perfect. It was. If you look a little to your left, there'll be your settings, and in your settings you'll be able to. That was nice.
How y'all doing? We out here chilling in the spot. What up? How y'all doing? We out here chilling in the spot. What up? How y'all doing? We out here chilling in the spot. How y'all doing? We out here chilling in the spot. What up?
Hey, what's going on, y'all? Brothers Breaking Bread podcast in the house. Hey.
We'll have a little pop-up. Have everything over. It'll be good.
Yeah, let's make it happen. Let's not stop about it. This is a beautiful thing, man. It's all this blackness, and we all just getting together, we playing dominoes, we eating, we drinking.
And, food is always just the extra, man.
They deprive these people of their basic human rights. You know, and we call ourselves Americans. We're supposed to be above all this.
They'll fake the crisis. They'll make it seem way out of proportion.
We brothers, we breaking bread. How y'all doing? We out here chilling in the spot. What up?
Trying to hold it all together, man. Life is moving fast right now, man. So it's good to have everybody come through. I love that, man. I love it a lot more than I could say to you guys.
Audience can't see it. Show notes, of course. We're gonna show a short clip of a pursuit in L.A. Now, I want y'all to play. I don't know if y'all have seen this clip, but pay close attention to the beginning on what the suspect is wearing. Roll it.
He's been able to
driver out, driver jumping out of the vehicle. Driver running through a parking lot, getting out of the vehicle into another group of cars, and it looks like a commercial
going into a commercial building. Looks like a liquor store.
Helicopter able to keep the night sun on him, but those CHP units are still handling the passenger. Don't see anybody chasing him on foot yet. We'll see what some of these businesses are. If he's okay, that's not him. Wonder how he made his way into one of these. It looks like a liquor store there. Oh no, I hope he's not in that liquor store.
That would be a big problem.
Doesn't look like it. You can see somebody there at the front door. That night sun following along the perimeter of the building.
Is this the guy?
That's not him either. Is it?
Think of this as a white man, because it was black. They would have shot that nigga as soon as he got the vehicle. So, to the audience, it's a armed robbery suspect. There is a police chase. There is a helicopter in the sky. There's a man in blue jeans and a black shirt who runs into a liquor store. What we are paused at. Now there is a man in jogging pants, and it appears to be a long sleeve T-shirt or some kind of sweatshirt, no hoodie, who they have now pulled over in front of the liquor store, who has his hands up. Oh shit! What happened? What happened? Oh shit! Y'all there? Damn! Oh my bad. Hot corner. I love MacBooks, but they have hot corners. My bad. Let's go.
I don't think so.
I don't think he had that much time to change. He wasn't wearing anything like that when he got out of the vehicle.
Yeah, I don't think so. But somebody with a guilty conscience putting both hands up in the air.
Yeah, I heard that right.
What? Guilty conscience because a police car ran up on him and told him to get his hands up.
The police car with a nigga with guns drawn, and he said he must have that's white privilege. You know what? That's white privilege. Because a white man can just be like, officer, sir, those are niggers over there. I am not who you're looking for. And they go, you're right. Sorry. That motherfucker said, guilty conscience. Nigga, no. There's a police officer with a gun drawn on me.
And you can see them now scouring this entire parking lot looking for any sign. You can see there's a gap between that liquor store and that other building, and he may have very well squeezed between the two. I can't tell. It looks like there's a possible gate there. I can't tell. They're now going to peek inside that liquor store. Canine units already on scene. There's several witnesses who can help those officers out.
And after this next part, that's where I'll stop at.
There's not, I mean, look at them. They're kind of staying outside of the liquor store. Wonder if he might be inside the liquor store.
Oh, now they're going down the street through the parking lot again. This was the driver.
Now
took off on foot. Now the dog is.
Hold on. You just going to your local liquor store, as Roger does, because I must admit, I have a obsession with Four Locos. My bad. Once a week I get one. I get it for the Chiefs game. I drink a Four Loko during the Chiefs game. That's me. I'm good. So Roger goes to the liquor store to get a Four Loko, and all of a sudden now I'm getting chewed up by a fucking police dog?
Yeah.
I'm suing everybody.
But I think, I don't know if we were clear on this. The suspect was white, and the nigga they caught is white too.
I couldn't tell if he was white, but he might have been. I just know that nigga had a black shirt on and jeans. He might have been white. You're right.
Skinny jeans.
Huh? Skinny jeans. Well, he was fat, so he might have been a fat nigga in regular jeans. I don't know.
But it wasn't this nigga with the LA Dodgers hat.
It was definitely not a nigga with an LA Dodgers hat, gray sweatshirt, gray sweatpants, who is now getting chewed the fuck up by these dogs.
Somebody getting LA about to come up off some money.
Nigga, everybody coming off money, nigga. Cause like I'll play a little bit more. We can move on. That's only a couple more seconds anyway. This nigga, he getting fucked up by this dog.
Why is the dog chewing on this guy?
Yeah, and I don't think that's him, Mark. I don't think that's him.
If our director Mark can get us video of the re-rack that video of the person that was running out of the car. We're trying to get that. He's in there.
In all this, I played all this to say this is how the Breonna Taylors, the Atatianas of the world happen. Fucking incompetence.
Yeah.
You know good and damn well you chasing a motherfucker in a black t-shirt and some fucking pants. And this nigga just walking down the street and all of a sudden he getting chewed up by a police dog. I'm glad he didn't get shot. So yeah, sue everybody.
You'll do.
It'll do. It'll do. All right, let's get to the. Oh, hold on. That should be here. We didn't. Hold on. Did I skip over that?
I think we're good.
We good?
Yeah, let's go skip. Let's skip to skip.
Well, I'm gonna say HBCU's fucking up.
First and foremost, see, black people.
They fucking up. Hey, Deion done left.
Are still their safe spaces for our wonderful, beautiful.
Kim told me that PWIUs, they the bastion of hate. Niggas shouldn't go there. And all I seen the last week, the niggas getting fucked up at HBCUs.
Well, wait,
hold on, Kim. My name, Roger Winston here. Triple B, investigative news reports. Is it true?
HBCUs are not exempt to the problems of the world. Now, I don't know what we're talking about. If we gonna talk about the Winston-Salem, we have to create safe spaces for our students. That was a situation where, you know, the professor was a different race. This situation is just totally inappropriate.
Both of them.
I mean, both of them were totally inappropriate, but she was going after a student. That's a child. In my mind, that's a child. I don't send my child to your educational institution for you to, you know.
Kim, you in a safe space. We love you. We support you.
I hear you talking about like they go through the stuff that every other institution you go through. That's not what I've heard.
That's not what I've heard.
We have similar experiences. I don't think we're exempt from certain things.
I feel like y'all have shit that we are exempt from at the PWI. Like, I don't feel like there be fucking clerical errors that you just, you just didn't take that class, nigga. You gonna have to take that shit again. Like, I don't know.
I mean, we have our own set of stuff, but yeah, HBCUs have been catching some heat. So look,
I coached at an HBCU. That shit is different.
Okay, how different is it? Different in what way? Because I don't know. Because my master's degree was at a PWI, so I don't have an undergrad.
What? You went to the white man's university?
White man's university. You got the
That's
white.
how you have to assimilate after you've been immersed in.
Hold on, man. Kim, I feel Kim getting pressure, man. Hold on. Too many. There's too many at once. Even though she may have brought this upon herself, there's too many at once.
This is Dr. Umar Spearman.
The female Deion Sanders.
Oh, I'm about to come up out my skin on that one.
You left him alone.
Hey, Joe, that might have been your best work today, nigga. Dr. Umar Spearman, nigga? What?
Take it back, Joe.
Take it back, nigga. Hold on. This nigga brought Sodom and Gomorrah and Dr. Umar Spearman in the same episode.
Welcome back, Joe. Welcome back.
Hey, I'm back in my pocket. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, Joe just said, I need Roger to fucking come here and just introduce the topic so I can get my shit off, nigga.
That's what it was. I had to distribute over there. I was point guard, nigga. I can just knock the shot down.
That nigga is stepped back in the Klay Thompson role. You did it to him. He's open.
Oh, shit.
He's open.
Oh, shit.
Joe said, I'm Karl Malone, nigga. I ain't supposed to be up here bringing the ball up the court. What is this shit? What is this shit?
I'm here for the pick and roll.
Where's Stockton at, nigga? Where's Stockton at?
Let me spot up in the corner, Steph. Give me the ball.
Oh, Dr. Umar Spearman. That might be one for the ages, bro. That's a fucking hell of a way to end the year out.
Oh, wow.
He did say doctor, though.
I did give you doctor status.
I can tell y'all a little story about Dr. Umar Johnson from when he came to Kansas City. He's actually not as bad as he. I wonder if some of that's a public persona, but
No, some of that is Twitter and social media and putting some shit on. I am pretty sure he's pretty intelligent and can. Yeah, I'm pretty sure of it.
I mean, his previous studies, like all of his like social work stuff prior to like him blowing up, prior to the school, everything Dr. Umar Johnson prior to him talking about that school, it was actually some decent and pretty valid stuff, but no Dr. Umar sparing.
No, but back to you getting your you said your master's degree from the white man's university.
Yes, I did.
That's a weird choice.
My
master's. You got mastered?
No, I mastered a subject from a white man's university because of the wonderful education that I was provided from Dillard University.
I need my Dr. Umar. I got to find Dr. Umar face as you said that. Hold on. I'm joking. Love you, Kim.
Can't stand y'all.
You know you love us. Get the fuck out of here.
The HBCU's been catching heat. Dion done left. Okay, so we going through a little bit of a weird transition right now.
I'm trying to figure out how y'all throwing a fit for a man trying to progress.
No, I don't think we're throwing a fit.
Oh, they are. They throwing a fit.
I think some of the coaches are throwing a fit because they're jealous of all the attention that he brought. But I mean, the man did what he came to do.
Alumni is throwing a fucking fit.
Like Jackson State alumni is throwing a fit?
It's Jackson. I got Jackson State alum on my timeline, but I'm talking about like nigga the fucking HBCU alumni period. They throwing a fit.
No, let me tell you who's throwing fits. It's the Howards. It's because there's echelons to like HBCUs. I'm breaking the code, HBCUs. I'm sorry, but there's tiers. So like the ones that have football teams, because like my university didn't at the time I went, and so we didn't. You know, there's certain stuff that we were not privy to. So like the Howards were pissed off, the Spelmans, the Morehouses, and all that because JSU's coming up. They about to be hot shit. So maybe that's why they going off. I don't know, but I personally, like, Dion did what he did. He made his money. He turned some young men up on game. He's giving some young men some opportunity. Ain't nothing wrong with coaching my book.
They are on this, and this is what Dr. Umar was on when he was on the Breakfast Club, that Dion promised he was going to be the Messiah, and he was going to die on this cross, and he was going to bring up from the ashes all of the other peoples of all the universities, and we were going to become viable to become national championship contenders because Dion was going to stay forever and he was going to bring on his NFL buddies to take over the other schools. And I was like, nigga, that's y'all dream.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Well, shit, the nigga did die on it. The nigga did. I mean, when you put into perspective what he did, that nigga did die on his cross. This nigga took a fucking bath in a hotel swimming pool because Jackson, Mississippi's fucking water is still bad.
Bro, and that's the shit I said in the chat group. I said they want this nigga to, how dare this nigga take $29 million and not subsidize our program and drink dirty water.
Like, really? Think I gave you half my salary to upgrade your facilities and bought you motherfuckers better food.
And then niggas broke into his office and stole his watch. Nigga, come on, bro.
Nigga, they broke into his son's car several times.
Nigga, come on.
Fuck?
Man. Come on. Dude, this shit. So, and I hit a Southern alum with this shit earlier this week. I was like, hey, you know, Jesus ain't worked but 3 years.
Joe, this is why people work.
Why people what?
That's you. If you had to put your phone down and walk away, I totally understand because you just want to get back on that and be like, damn, no, Joe, you can't say stuff like that. It was kind of good, but damn.
It was good. I mean, it's facts. It's facts. Y'all mad at Hey, Roger.
Yes.
They mad at Dion for only staying at JSU for 3 years. Nigga, Jesus only worked for 3 years too, bro.
That's why I was saying, like, I'm on Twitter and I'm reading some of these timelines. Like, they wanted, when I say they specifically, there's a large component of JSU, I don't know if they're alumni, but fans who were like, they wanted Dion to stay until is it Shiloh? What's the nigga's name? His son? Shiloh, right?
I don't know, yeah. Shador.
Huh?
I think it's Shador.
It's Shador. Well, yeah, that nigga name. They wanted him to stay the whole time. They wanted him to stay there until he got drafted so they could have a HBCU, specifically a Jackson State football player drafted in the first round.
Yeah, they thought that nigga was gonna win the Heisman and be at the HBCU.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen. But
he's at the top of the Heisman talk right now, though.
Yep. But now he's going, because he's gonna be in Colorado.
Yeah, but now he's got a legitimate chance.
But they wanted him because like they were like saying like he should have been on the. I don't think that would have happened at Jackson State, but he definitely could have seen him getting drafted in the first round. And he probably would have been the first player from Jackson State to be drafted in the first round of the NFL draft. And that's what a lot of them are mad about too. Is like, we want you to stay here, have your boy drafted, so we can have that attached to our school and our football program, that we had a first round draft pick come from our football program.
He did come from your football program, just indirectly.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, nigga, look. All right, look, like. Motherfuckers, this is the shit I was talking about, and even after working at an HBCU, where I can see, because I didn't go to school there, but I worked there staff-wise, so I can see where Dion. This is the first motherfucking coach to take a NIL deal as a coach, nigga. This nigga was gonna take 30% of the gate based on the sales of the tickets. This nigga said 60. They claiming they got 60,000 people in the stands, stadium's full, but they only see 20,000 at the gate, or 28,000. Where the rest of the money? Yeah, they still in the money.
Where's the rest of the fucking money? You know what I'm saying? And you can't be mad at Dion for taking the NIL deal, because motherfuckers is coming to the game because Dion is coaching. No other reason. Nobody is coming to watch Jackson State play fucking football.
I mean, that's facts. But
without Deion Sanders being the coach. So motherfuckers is coming to the game for Deion Sanders' name, so why not? Like, if I give y'all back half my salary, y'all gonna give me 10, 15% of the gate. And then them niggas can't even own up to that.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie, though. Until all this shit, I ain't never had no Lincoln shit. Now I got a Lincoln long sleeve t-shirt and a Lincoln hoodie, nigga. What's up?
Nigga, I still got my coaching Lincoln shit.
Hey, as I was saying, I got my Lincoln. I said, damn. I said, wait a minute. I graduated from HBCU. Well, I ain't got no HBCU shit. Yeah, but like, and also, and I do hear what Kim's saying though too. There's a lot of people out here who are hee-hawing, boo-hooing, who are not giving to the cause of HBCUs. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people out there. It's like and we talked about in chat group too. You want Dion to do what you wouldn't do. Give money to HBCU. Fund the HBCU. And there's a podcast I listen to, I talk about here all the time, Firestarter. They talked about why is the fucking pregame and the cookout, you got more turnout for that than the actual football games. You know what I'm saying? So you want Dion to do more for the school than you want to do for your school that you actually got a fucking degree from.
Exactly. There was a preacher, bro. There was a preacher that from Jackson State. He's a preacher. He was I don't know if y'all seen this. He was giving a sermon. He says 400. He said right now it's 400 Jackson State alumni. He said, if you motherfuckers only gave $100 a piece, do you know what that would do? And y'all talking about what Dion did?
Let's talk about what Dion did. New stadium.
You know what I'm saying? And y'all want to talk about what Deion didn't do? He was like, you motherfuckers won't even give $100 a piece. And y'all want, y'all want Jackson State to be revived, and y'all want this legacy to be built, and all these things to be happening, and y'all holding Deion accountable for the success and the revitalization of your university, and you won't even give $100 yourself. If 400 of y'all motherfuckers gave $100, how much would that be? You know what I'm saying?
Hey, AC, better question. Are you even trying to send your own kid to Jackson State?
Exactly.
Ooh, they get to some muddy waters, nigga. You getting to some, you asking personal questions now, nigga.
Exactly.
But anyway, man, yeah, that's, I mean, I know that's a whole different topic, but I mean, salute to the brother though, right? You take a school that a lot of the nation didn't know about.
Yeah.
You put them on the map. You got game day there. They went 12-1 or undefeated. I can't remember.
They undefeated this year.
Undefeated this year.
They played in the Celebration Bowl.
Yeah. Salute to that brother, man. And it's like, the next time a nigga get a promotion next time a nigga leave their job for more money, I want to show up there and be like, hey, dog, I saw some of your tweets. I'm here to talk to you about leaving your last employer for more money because you said Deion shouldn't have done
it. And even when he left, Deion has spent the time making sure his team is prepared for the bowl game.
Yeah.
And he gonna finish that thing out, man. I really
he even ushered the next head coach in. He was there and announced him.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. It's like, but go ahead, Joe. My bad.
I can't speak for the delegation, Joe. I don't see what the problem is.
I don't see the problems either. You can't say at one point in time you want black head coaches at these Power 5 schools. You want black head coaches in the NFL. You want black head coaches in other positions. Because it seems like niggas want black head coaches at these PWIs unless it means they can't be HBCUs.
Yeah, make up your mind.
I mean, what is it, nigga? We talk. It kind of feels like that whole when we talked about the Jada Pinkett shit with Will Smith. It's like, do you want us to fight for you or not be toxic? Which one you want?
Mm-hmm.
Valid points.
You want us to be represented at these Power 5 conferences, or you want us all to be HBCUs? Which one is it, my guy?
What did Deion say? You know what I'm saying? They act like I'm leaving the HBCU. I'm leaving being black.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He said I'm still gonna be dealing with 65 to 75% African American young men.
Even in the NFL, he was the niggas of niggas. What are you talking about? This nigga brought high stepping before you get into the end zone, into the spotlight. Prime time.
Think about gold chains and all that.
Niggas had niggas in college hanging their gloves off their face masks for a long time. Like, I want to be like Deion. I'm gonna put my gloves on my face mask while I'm warming up. While I'm out here covering niggas. It's like, okay, dog, just put.
I know niggas in high school used to have all the gear and be begging for number 2 on their high school jersey. You know what I'm saying?
Nigga, Deion Sanders went cross sport, nigga. You remember when niggas was doing the ugly ass Deion Sanders layup in basketball?
Oh yeah. Hey, hold on.
Come on, man.
Hey, Joe. Guess who played cornerback and wore number 2 in high school? Yep. This nigga.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Anyway, shout out. I mean, we already here at sports. Different segment. I guess still sports. I love it. Let's go.
This is just straight hate by a guy who's jealous that he's still playing at a high level.
Hold on. Joe be mad at me. Let me load this up right. Moving on. We in the sports now. I don't know if y'all saw Skip and Shannon getting into it about Timothy Brady. Let's go.
Tom, terrific.
This is just straight hate by a guy who's jealous that he's still playing at a high level at 45 when you had to stop at 35.
That's what you
That's
do.
the point.
That's what you do. Every time I call something in question, I'm jealous.
No,
I did what I
never
did.
said you were jealous of Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, I did what I did. You make it seem like I was a bum. I'm in the effing Hall of Fame.
Okay,
I got 3 Super Bowls.
So what?
So what?
He's way better than you were.
I'm better than you. See what you do? You take personal shots.
Hey, you know what? I'm going to reverse this. I'm going to rewind it back. Kim left. She probably got to get a drink. But as the brothers here, let's see how many warnings there were to let Skip know he had crossed the line.
There was warnings before this, though.
I mean, I don't have the full thing, but I like right there it hit me because that nigga's voice went up a couple octaves. I was like, ooh, Skip might get fucked up today. So let's see what we got. Yeah, I mean, it ain't the full thing. Let's see in this 1 minute clip how many warnings there are for Skip to know that he about to get fucked up.
This is just straight hate by a guy who's jealous that he's still playing at a high level at 45 when you had to stop at 35.
That's
the point.
That's what you do. Every time I call something in question, I'm jealous.
No,
I did what I
never
did.
said you were jealous of Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, I did what I did. You make it seem like I was a bum. I'm in the effing Hall of Fame.
Okay,
I got 3 Super Bowls.
So what?
So what?
He's way better than you were.
I'm better than you. See what you do? You take personal shots.
No, I don't take personal shots. You started it.
Time out. You would take a personal shot at me.
I didn't take a personal shot at you.
Wait a minute.
What are you talking about?
You would take a personal shot.
Put your glasses back on.
Can I finish? You're willing to take a personal shot at me to say this man is better than me because I say he's playing bad this year?
Well, because you just you disrespect him. It's just so. You know what? It's beneath your dignity.
You disrespect me to support him.
No, well, I'll support him over anybody because he's the
like
greatest
at least
player
7,
ever played
nigga.
your game, and it's by far.
Have it.
Okay, I'm going to have at it because I'm going to have at you because what happened yesterday? The Bucs defense.
Oh, he don't know. He living on borrowed time, bro.
Hey, those are the eyes of a black man who at some point this morning he logged into his bank account and he trying to figure out if I fuck this man up right now, the lawyer fees, whatever else I got to pay. Am I gonna be good if I never get another gig like this? That's what that look is right there, nigga.
That face right there, it ain't nothing but algebraic expression.
Algebraic, nigga. Common core math at its fullest right now, nigga, is coming into play.
You're trying to figure out how much does it cost to fuck this nigga up?
How much it gonna cost? How much it gonna cost me to fuck this nigga up today?
That nigga's got that look
he's probably got somebody in his ear because he's got those earpieces. I'm sure there's someone in his ear like, dude, just stop. Just breathe for a second. Just take a moment.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. But like you see Skip just don't understand. He in the lion's den right now. Look at his face. He don't understand the danger, nigga.
He over there inspecting them tiger teeth, bro.
He don't understand the danger, nigga. Skip has failed.
He got his head all in the mouth, nigga.
Hey.
Just do it.
Just do it. Skip is a kid who grew up thinking that monkeys are just playful creatures, and Skip has fell into the gorilla den, nigga, and he don't understand he about to get fucked up. He about to get fucked up. Skip just...
that nigga's in the gorilla pen with Harambe dog.
Yeah. Hey, he was there with Harambe. He was Harambe. Dog.
He watching Nope from the inside, though.
Hey, Shannon, like as I call it, the nigga tea kettle. The fucking octaves went up
Yeah. Tea kettle.
The nigga tea kettle, dog. That's like, to me, that's the that's the biggest warning. Like when hey, watching niggas' hands when the nigga tea kettle go off, something about to pop, dog.
Hey, when the nigga take his glasses off and put his
there we go.
Fingers
Took his glasses
between
off.
the bridges of his fucking nose and his eyes and say, "You got it, dog."
And then when that nigga was like, "You acting like I ain't nobody, like I ain't did nothing." That's another one, nigga. Like, you questioning my manhood, dog. You questioning me, dog. Nigga, I'm in the Hall of fucking Fame. I'm one of the greatest tight ends ever.
Nigga,
ever, nigga.
Football players ever.
Yeah, nigga. Fuck Tony. Fuck Kelsey. Fuck nigga. I was playing tight end when you could put hands on a nigga, dog. I'm one of the greatest tight ends ever, nigga. And like, you questioning me, dog, nigga, dog. Skip was like, thank you, AC. He was walking around. He had Harambe next to him, and he didn't even know it, nigga.
He's about to get drugged.
Yeah, you see Skip try to turn around at the end, talking about, "I'm gonna go with you." Like, nah, bitch. You know you need to back up.
Yeah, because like what happens to white men though, and I think like white people in general, is that they think niggas are like, "Oh, I agree with you." No, niggas is trying to calculate their pocketbooks. That's what my man doing right there. Like, okay, if I fuck you up right now, how much money am I gonna need to make sure I get to keep the big house with the full-size gym and the swimming pool?
It was going through them calculations.
Yeah,
like,
dog, the calculations was calculating. Hey, when we say, normally we say the math ain't mathing, the math is mathing right now, dog.
Hey, bro, you remember in A Beautiful Mind when Russell Crowe kept seeing all them calculations?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
that is Shannon Sharp right now.
Dog. Shannon was like, "Let me catch you on the dark alley one day."
That nigga said, "Carry the 7."
Hey, dog, I was just like,
oh no, yeah.
Cause we talking about at work, dog. I said, to me, whenever I hear a nigga go, "Hey," they like, "Oh, okay, nigga, the nigga tea kettle popping off, nigga. I need to watch you. I have definitely hit a nerve." Oh shit. Okay. Hey, cause Joe has done it to me a few times. I'm like, hey nigga, what do you mean? What you mean?
It's several times where if we was doing this shit live in person, I don't know. I don't know how this shit would have went.
My bad. I feel bad.
So I made sure that when I put in the brothers and sisters breaking bread chat group, I was like, "See, it ain't just us.
It ain't just us." I love that freeze frame though, cause Shannon like, I really want to fuck him up. I want to fuck him up so bad right now. Anyway, man, and fuck Skip. I mean, I hate Skip Bayless, dog. He is just. I hate him. And hold on.
He got a history of that shit, bro.
Hold on. Y'all keep talking. Hold on. I'm trying to find this shit.
You know, Skip got a history of that shit, man. What's his name had to read his ass?
Jalen Rose. I'm trying to find it.
Richard Sherman had to read his ass. Jalen Rose had to read his ass.
I'm trying to find this shit. Hold on.
Yeah, Skip ain't shit.
What do you call that nigga? Water pistol Pete?
Oh, here we go. Oh, of course, you got to have a YouTube ad, but anyway, yeah. We're going to play how you handle this shit when you are a professional athlete and somebody who never made it past high school basketball tries to talk to you.
Quit. It was the best choice I ever made because I had no chance of making it there as any kind of a starting player. So That has nothing to do with anything.
So in this clip, you have Skip Bayless again, a little younger. Jalen Rose is on the show, and Jalen Rose, he came prepared. He read the assignment.
Make you physical. Just because you're a shooting guard, that don't mean you can jack up threes. That's
What were you, Jalen? What were you?
What were you? Did you average 1.4 points as a senior in high school?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, so all of that Pistol P stuff, Water Pistol P Jr.
Okay, well, we'll discuss that later. We're going to.
Don't ignore that. Did you play junior?
Yeah.
Did you play JV as a junior?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I follow
What were you? What were you? What was your position?
I have no position.
You were a point guard.
I have no game.
You were a point guard. All right. Well, is that more for the fans? Do you think?
This nigga ain't calling Water Pistol P. He calling Water Pistol P Jr.
He said, "Hold on, nigga. Did you play JV as a junior?"
Okay, I found this on the web. For how old, Nick, did you play JV as a junior?
Damn it.
Check
Siri,
it out.
Siri, shut up. Shut the fuck up. You know what I'm trying to hear you right now? Siri just said, hold on, nigga, I got information.
I'm here to help. Get
Stop
to know
it.
Siri at apple.com.
Shut the fuck up, Siri.
This nigga Roger coming back to the show. Rusty in the motherfucker, man.
Hey, I can't help it if Siri won't be a part of the show. Are y'all hearing her too?
This nigga don't know the plays no more. This nigga,
I'm not sure I understand. Is there something else I can help with?
No, Siri. Bye,
Okay.
Siri. No, but yeah, that nigga was like, wait a minute, you average 1.4 points, and then like his rebuttal is, you were a point guard? It's like, yeah, nigga, I was also in the NBA. What are we talking about?
In the NBA Finals, nigga.
He said, hey, dog, hey, that motherfucker, hey, cause that do matter though to niggas that play ball. Wait a minute, you was playing JV as a junior? Okay. Okay, nigga. Because Jalen was like, I was playing varsity as a freshman. Anyway, fuck Skip, always. Okay, I don't know how I got over there. Boom, boom. Let's keep it moving. We got sidetracked. 2-year-old boy swallowed by a hippo. That's bad.
Yeah, that's bad.
Yeah, hippos is fucking up.
Yeah.
I do want to ask though, why aren't there more universities like the fucking Houston Hippos? Because they're very vicious creatures.
Because they make awesome plushies.
I get it. Because someone else brought up too, like maybe it's racism that's tied into it, like the Pitt State Gorillas. The gorilla is a fucking great mascot, dog. They are vicious. And I don't know.
Speaking of which, shout out my athlete is at Pitt State.
Hey.
And he's out here beasting. He anchored a 4x4 that won the other day. So he's PRing and all type of stuff, man. So Pitt State Gorillas, shout out.
You ever been to a football game down there, Joe? Or anybody?
I have been in the stadium for track meets. We go to a meet down there.
Dog.
For a game though.
For the football games, nigga.
UCM for a football game. I've been to Northwest Missouri for a football game. I haven't been there for Pitt State.
Pitt State, dog. Of course, it's not a big school, but the fucking atmosphere. Nigga, they got this big ass
tradition. They have a tradition. Definitely.
Yeah, they got this big ass inflatable gorilla, nigga, and they got smoke, and they got niggas in the fucking stands throwing fucking bananas at the visiting team. Cause I went to Washburn, you know what I'm saying, and Pitt State's in MIAA. Yeah, dog, it's way different, nigga. And they play that "Welcome to the Jungle" We ain't got. It's intimidating.
Nah,
I ain't gonna lie.
Nigga, we played Pitt State 3 years in a row.
Yeah.
When I was at Lincoln.
Yeah.
That's different. That's a goddamn Division II, Division I atmosphere.
And back then, them niggas was national championship contenders. Yeah.
Oh, they was beast.
They was
beast.
They didn't go to the championship game, but they was in the playoffs this year. Yeah. Yeah, but
West just took the fuck off. You know what I'm saying? But
AC, you been there, nigga. It's different.
No, it's different now. That felt like that was one of the only games when I went there coaching in Lincoln. That shit felt like a Division I atmosphere.
Nigga, when that smoke come off and they start rocking that big ass inflatable gorilla back and forth, nigga, it's time.
Nigga, and it feels like that goddamn field is shaking.
It's time.
It's a nice stadium. It's a very nice stadium. They got a nice video board.
Yeah, it's nice. Very nice. That's very nice. I was like, oh, because I was at Washburn, and I was like, ooh, this is what it's supposed to be like? Niggas actually in the stadium want to come watch you play?
They got a 300-meter indoor track. I know that. I don't know what that can do with this. But.
Yeah.
Can I give y'all a quick little side note?
No, ma'am. I'm joking.
Back in 2014, UMKC swapped their mascot to be a hippo.
Really?
Yeah.
Hippos?
Yeah.
What year?
In 2014.
I don't know nothing about that.
I thought they was they ain't the rules no more?
They're back to being the rules now, but it says we feel this is a better representation of the potential UMKC has. See, hippos are actually very dominant, aggressive creatures. So with the implementation of the pygmy hippo as the new mascot, it symbolizes the university's determination to become a force to be reckoned with.
I think
them rules be boxing though.
No, a rule will fuck you up though too. But I think a hippo. I think people like y'all said though. Or Joe said like that people think the hippo is this big plushy creature and they will fuck your whole day up. We talk about this.
They will fuck your family up, nigga.
They swallowed this nigga. He tried to swallow a kid whole.
Nigga, they made a whole game over this shit. Milton Berle and them.
Hungry hippos.
Hungry hippos.
Yeah.
You know what it probably just all them white. They probably wanted to make it black beads instead of white beads. That's probably why. That's probably why they didn't succeed. I see it. The hungry hippo eating the colonizer. Yep, I get it.
Hey, he was probably inspecting tiger teeth.
I got out of order here. You know what? We know what? Winston-Salem, HPUs, they fucking up. Kim, she made her peace with it.
We need to take our safe spaces back. No, I don't know. I can't really. Do y'all know what happened? All I know is that the woman wanted an apology. She didn't get an apology. She called the police and the student was arrested. That's super unfortunate. This is also
right. Well, actually, it wasn't the.
Why they got a white professor at Winston-Salem State?
I will say
some of my best professors were white professors.
There are white professors
in black settings
because HBCUs they include everybody. I do get that, but and Joe's being Joe.
The seventh chance of Harambe.
Excuse me.
The seventh chance of Harambe. Harambe.
But Kim, it wasn't the professor in the classroom. Mm-hmm. It was someone, I guess, next door who called the police.
Oh.
Yes.
Maybe it was some.
They heard
escalation of some voices.
They heard that. They heard the nigga tea kettle go off, and they're like, oh. Call the police. Somebody about to get fucked up. They heard that nigga tea kettle. Alert them.
I feel like it being the next door person makes it even worse. Like, why are you getting involved in this and you don't even know what's happening?
I agree.
But then why wouldn't the other teacher prevent it from happening? Like, tell the person it's cool. She was just getting upset. I was upset. You don't need to arrest them. Like, I don't know why it escalated to the point where the police were still Yeah, I don't know if they took her out, or I'm assuming they took her out because that's what the story said, but why did it even get to that point?
I agree. And it still remains, they all agree, it still remains it was over a paper or homework assignment. Crazy.
Unfortunate.
Well, yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, like, I don't understand why.
Dion is going to a PWI, but y'all got PWPs coming over here to teach our kids.
You keep on throwing them letters together, Joe. You just keep it up.
Yes.
Keep it up. PWPs.
These predominantly white professors come over and teach our kids, and then just Professor Karen coming over here calling the cops.
And actually, I think the woman in the class, she is Hispanic.
Oh, the professor is
the one who did not call the police. I think it is a white woman who did call the police, but hold on here. I think it was you can't really open this up. I think it was reported. Oh yeah, that's definitely yeah.
Oh, she might have married into that.
But no, even when you see her picture though, I'm trying to. The video's kind of.
Found her picture.
Well, like there's a better video. She does look Hispanic.
Okay. I mean, we got stuff too.
Yeah.
Y'all support your HBCUs. I just supported mine. I'm getting ready to go back to school, so my lovely organization's gonna pay for another degree at a HBCU.
I did have to go to the restroom, but I do enjoy your sidestep though. That's pretty good. It's like that hitting that what is it, the right shoulder button back in the day. You get that motherfucking on Madden, you get that little sidestep. That's cool. Anyway,
L2.
Huh?
It's called L2.
L2. Hey, Kim hit that L2.
You say she be in the Philly shell? Like, the Philly shell, like throwing the shoulder on.
Dr. Umar Spearman in the house. Actually,
that one legit. That hurts.
It might. Hold on. This might be the longest title ever. Sodom and Gomorrah, brought to you by Dr. Umar Spearman, nigga. Okay, we gotta keep it going.
Hey man, that's enough of this shit, bro. I think we good on the episode.
Okay, we good. And no, I just want to say, cause we are a show that talks about checking in, and we have said numerous times that we love check-ins and mental health and all that stuff, man. I know who he is. Not a big fan of it. I mean, I didn't dislike the Ellen Show, just didn't watch it. Stephen Twitch Boss left a suicide note alluding to past challenges, and I guess to me the big thing about that is I do know he was a brother who would put videos on Twitter and social media of his wife and children dancing, and you would not have any idea that his brother was in pain. Like there was no idea of it. You know what I'm saying? On the outside looking in. And as we talk about on the show all the time, man, you don't know a person's personal struggles. Checking on your people. And I think we take it for granted when I don't take it for granted when Kim and AC, they do check-ins, just say, how you doing, this and that. I definitely appreciate it because sometimes I'm not at a low, but I'm just not right, and it just feels good to have someone just to chime in and say, hey, how you doing, bro, to see that phone call. And sometimes AC call, I ain't gonna lie, I'm just like, I don't feel like fucking talking. Ain't got nothing to do with him, but I answer the phone, and immediately when I hear that brother's voice, I'm like, I'm uplifted. And I appreciate it. So, yeah, man, you gotta, even though we out here diddy bopping and whatever, putting shit on social media, Facebook, Instagram, everybody smiling and laughing. You never know, man. So continue to check in on your people. Continue to make sure the people that you love aren't suffering behind closed doors. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, and you can definitely go back and do a Google search of his videos. And it's a lot of recent ones too, with him and his wife and their kids dancing and everything seems fine. Brother committed suicide, left a note. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man, we all struggle silently. And sometimes it takes just a simple hello, how you doing, to alleviate some of that pain. So let's continue to do that for each other. I appreciate you, Kim and AC. I really do.
Just one little caveat, though. 988 is the suicide loneliness prevention line. So if someone is feeling, if you just feel like you need someone to talk to, you need to make outreach to someone, you can text, but you can also call. So it's 988. And if there's other means, if you're feeling like you're going to do something else, just take yourself somewhere safe, like an emergency room, someplace safe. But yeah, this is a loss. This is a big loss. This is a hurt loss.
All right, man. I think, all the tabs have been tabulated, man. Any caveats out there? Everybody good? All right, man. Once again, man, Lady Lavender, Miss Honey Bun, Slim AC, half of the Brothers of Doom, Joe Jeff. I'm the KC Stork. Never, ever, ever miss a moment to break bread with your brothers and sisters. Fuck, I'm so happy to be back. We out.
Do your thing, bro. Rock to this. Move your hips, girl. Bop with us. Who's that claiming they can chop it up? True facts, it ain't no stopping us. Do your thing, bro. Rock to this. Move your hips, girl. Bop with us. Who's that claiming they can chop it up? True facts, it ain't no stopping us. Eyes closed, who you know that's this cold? In your nation state, let alone your zip code. Million tracks, man, I'm known to rip those. This one here got MCs exposed. See them out there, man, they tapping their toes. Shim in the lab, what's happening, bro? Coming from the road, man, I'm ready to go. Crown on ice like that in the zone. Sample kinda slap, throw that on the flow. Add a boom bat, bro, you already know. Let them throw shade, it ain't harm me though. In no way, that's harmony, bro. Peace on earth, goodwill to men. Step out of line, goodwill could end. Here's a secret, I won't fill them in. I work 9 to 5, 5 to 9 again. Transport back to 95 again. Beats on the lunchroom table, send a message to the brain, it's time to jump in. Cypher with friends, turn boys to men. Way back when I might avoid a spin. Back to the now, I'm destroying men. Train for the rain, how it's supposed to be. True MCs, I was exposed to them. Do your thing, bro, rock to this. Move your hips, girl, bop with us. Who's that claiming they can chop it up? True facts, it ain't no stopping us. Do your thing, bro, rock to this. Move your hips, girl, bop with us. Who's that claiming they can chop it up? True facts, it ain't no stopping us.
Enough to make a nigga go crazy.
Energy building, taking all type of medicine. Thought you was better than. Hey, son. I keep playing this in orbit. Why don't we come deeper and more shit? Enough to make you take it, your ass, cause I create. Why as good as it tasty cake?
Mix.
Your style, I mastered in. Niggas catch your haze, but what?
You need. Hey, I was on that. Hey, not Old Dirty, but I was on my twin this morning, Red Man. Woo!
I saw the post, nigga.
I was on that Red Man this morning.
Look, up in the sky.
Cause I knew we was gonna be on some bullshit. I had to have my mind right. Feds arrest pastor.
I had a Wu-Tang theme for like the last month and a half, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Feds.
Kim, did you catch? Did you listen to the last episode?
I did.
Did you catch your reference? You the jizzer?
It was accurate.
Okay.
No complaints had. No complaints had.
Did you catch yours? What were you? Were the
Oh, she's Capadonna.
I thought she was Capadonna, yeah.
That's what y'all came up with after the fact. I think it was Inspector Deck in the moment.
That was
okay.
Deck in the moment. It was Deck in the moment.
For me, I was like, Capadonna.
I like Deck better.
They Deck better?
That part.
What you
say?
say?
What?
I heard that on the show, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they were talking about it in the chat group after the fact. They tried to change it up in revisionist history. I was like, nah, we ain't doing that.
Well, I wasn't on the show, so to my credit,
we did come up with that.
I like Deck anyway. Cause Deck is like they want to sit back, watch you play yourself and all that, right? And take you to court after that, cause she the rebel INS.
I don't know. I like the Capadonna though. That win awards.
You know Capadonna don't say much, but when Capadonna speaks, nigga, he speaks.
Hey.
You act like Deck don't.
The Deck do too. Yeah. That's why I ain't mad either way. I just know, to me, like, Capadonna had like probably one of the best verses. Fucking that win awards, dog. That motherfucker just.
Oh yeah, that nigga for 2.5 minutes straight just let loose.
Nigga just like, let me rewind this, nigga. Woo.
Are we forgetting Inspector Deck verse on Triumph, bro?
No, they
that's like a top 10 verse all time.
That's tight. It's tight. I like Capadonna on Win Awards.
Nah,
better.
Win Awards is harder than that.
I like Capadonna on Win Awards better, but I think Win Awards might be a better track all around. That might be the problem.
The flavor.
Yeah.
It's also the tier flavor.
Yeah. But I ain't mad either way. Niggas both dropped some hot bars. I ain't mad either way. I don't care. All right. All right, put that up. All right, let's look at something. Ooh, I ain't see this. Breonna Taylor's. What's up? You going to bed, buddy?
I'm not going to bed.
It's time to go to bed. You don't say.
As a star. As a star.
Say, talk to the microphone.
Stop.
Say, hey.
Stop.
What's your name?
Ellis.
Ellis who?
Let me go.
No. What's your full name?
Ellis, let me go.
Ellis Wayman Winston.
That's right. Give your governor.
He put him in a headlock. Like, nigga, what's your name?
What's your name? Say your name, nigga.
Say Toby.
He gave you the middle name too. Ellis Lamont Wilson. Winston.
Ellis Raymond Winston.
Raymond Winston. Rain Man.
What y'all bothering me? Get the fuck out of here. That's over here too. Say goodnight. Say goodnight to everybody.
Goodnight.
What's your name?
Grant.
Grant what?
Grant Winston.
What's your middle name?
Joseph.
All right.
I like that one. Grant Joseph.
Yes.
One.
Yes, he is.
Mm-hmm.
Them two little dudes' personalities is wild, bro.
They are wild, sir.
They wild.
Damn it. One more person throw something at me. All right, good night, man.
Break bread with your brothers whenever possible.
Lucky Land Casino, asking people, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
Lucky? In line at the deli, I guess?
Aha, in my dentist's office. More than once, actually.
Do I have to say?
Yes, you do.
In the car before my kids' PTA meeting.
Really?
Yes.
Excuse me, what's the weirdest place you've gotten lucky?
I never win and tell.
Well, there you have it. You can get lucky anywhere, playing at LuckyLandSlots.com. Play for free right now. Are you feeling lucky? No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
It is the Riot Podcast. Good Monday, December 19th.
Oh, guys, Monday before Christmas.
Yeah. Did everybody have a good weekend?
I think so.
Yours was good?
Yeah, pretty good.
Isaiah, good?
Pretty solid.
Any stories you guys like to share that didn't make it into the show?
I told Hudson my dogs escaped again.
That's like twice in a week.
I know. See, last week I thought like a guy was doing like a winter treatment on the grass.
Yeah.
And so I blamed it and I was like, oh, the guy never shut the gate.
Yeah.
And so my dogs got behind my house. There's like a ravine. But that's not the case. One of my other gates has like a bottom part that must have shifted like with the ground, maybe when it got cold.
Yeah.
And they found it. And so I was coming home on Saturday and I was on Facebook and it sent me an alert in our little community page. And I was like, that's my dog.
That one's mine.
That one's mine. I was like, why is Rolo? So Rolo got like maybe 20 houses down the road and Cinnamon and Sugar stayed nearby. So they came back. But it was just like, man, where are you guys at?
Sounds like you owe somebody an apology.
Rolo or the guy who I blamed it on?
Yeah, the lawn guy.
It could have been maybe he broke it when he still went in. So I'm going to leave that
You're still suspicious
as a possibility.
Yeah.
But I'm glad my dogs are back.
Yeah, we are too. Isaiah, any news?
Nothing too much. I watched the movie Avatar 2. Real exciting. Did that on Friday night. Before that, I got Hot Chicken Takeover. That was exciting. So went there on Friday night. Real good. Yesterday, I figured out where I went. I went to Condado's Tacos, and I had their tacos there. And you know what? I was underwhelmed.
You don't like it?
I can mark it down as not very impressed. Probably will not return.
Do you think tacos...
But I love it when he was trying to tell us that. You told us like every other place but that.
I know. I couldn't remember where I went.
Off. You're like, I went to the worst taco place and then listed every taco place in town.
You had enough slander that someone could have sued you.
Yeah, I know. I didn't know. I couldn't figure out which one it was because I couldn't remember. But it wasn't that the tacos were bad. It's just that they don't have many options. Like their menu is really small for like a Mexican place, so that you'd think they'd have more options. They didn't even have quesadillas there. That's how I was upset.
You always need that for someone who can't handle Mexican food.
That's what I thought. And I looked at the menu because usually I would get like a steak or chicken quesadilla.
Did you look at the kids' menu?
If I'm being a little bit more conservative. And they didn't even have it on the menu. I probably could have asked for it.
Yeah, they have the ingredients.
I could have asked for it for sure, but like it's not on the menu, so I didn't want to look.
Oh, they probably would have charged you like double the price.
Yeah, for no reason.
Do you think this might be an interesting question on the show? So maybe I should save it. But like stuff that where you expected the cheaper version to taste better. In other words, like I think a lot of times for barbecue, you don't want to go to a nice sit down barbecue place. You want to go to something that's attached to a gas station.
Oh, like the barbecue hut.
Yeah, it's something that doesn't have a bathroom or seating.
Yeah, but
you
then
just want to go to a
suspicious.
window and they probably have like rats crawling in there. But
It just
it's fine 'cause
depends
it
on the
tastes so
person.
good.
That's the thing. Like it probably tastes better sauce wise, but I'm afraid what are they barbecuing?
Yeah.
Well, you don't want sauce on it if it's good.
No, I'm afraid what meat option are we having?
Yeah.
Is it your old neighbor or
I mean, if it tastes good, it tastes good, right?
No,
Yeah. I guess for me, I don't prefer the really crappy places. That's just not, I just am not
But
as much into
I think sometimes like the taco trucks, right? Sometimes that's
Those
better.
are good, yeah.
See, they're good, but like I would never choose. I would never go to one. I would never even give it a chance. But I'm sure it'd be good too, like real authentic. But I
No,
would
you
never
already
do
wrote it off. Don't
I wouldn't
change
even
it
do it.
right
I wouldn't.
now.
Well, I said I
Don't try
wouldn't
to
do it.
cover yourself now.
I'm just saying. I mean, I think they're trash. I'll be honest. If you want me to slander them, I'll slander them. If you're in a taco truck,
what an
it's
opinion
trash.
to come bring on this show.
I love it. It's
I
like-
think taco trucks are terrible.
I think
That's
they're
what Isaiah
trash.
just said. He
They
said
have to
they're
be a
trash.
taco truck. That's why every food truck is escaping. They're, bad reviews and they're bad food before. But there's plenty of good trucks. But
Yeah.
if you get any food trucks now, they're so more expensive
It's actually true
than
also.
a restaurant. Like, I don't even think of doing them anymore.
You're right about that. You're right about that. And I have a taco truck right by my, sits in the gas station right next to me.
Nice.
I bet you it's great, but it is super expensive, so I've never tried it.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
Let's see. We do cover Avatar on the box office. We also cover your big football stuff from the weekend.
Both kinds of football.
Yeah, both. Oh, yeah, soccer as well. Anything else?
We also talked about how long you should
Nikki
wait.
was just stealing your job.
I know, I liked it. Honestly, I loved every second of it.
Nikki, you want to be the producer?
Oh, I can do it too. It's fine.
How long should you wait after getting your year-end bonus to quit? And we also talked about
your urine bonus.
Your year-end bonus.
What are you for? What are you doing?
Wait, what did I say?
They want the podcast.
You just ran it like you just said it like that. It sounded like you said your urine your urine bonus.
How long should you wait after getting your year-end bonus?
Why are you doing
your year?
You don't
year-end bonus.
Your
year-end. Your year-end bonus.
There we go.
There you go.
That's
Got
better.
it. So your year-end bonus. That's. Don't tell me how to speak. I'm a professional talker. Don't tell me how to talk.
Well, we'll help you figure out if you're wanting to quit, or I guess I don't know if we ever really come to an agreement on how long one should wait.
Yeah,
but
it's situational.
Generally,
yeah, everybody has different situations.
You can't be sure
of when you get your urine bonus.
You'll know when you know. You'll know when you know.
When it's the right time. Is it the right time?
All right.
Well, enjoy the podcast today. Kevin from Disciple also joined us.
That's right.
So if you're watching this podcast, when you're done, hop to the video before. And if you are a audio podcast listener, head over to Radio U Riot on our Facebook and our YouTube channel, where you can watch Kevin from Disciple talk about new Disciple music and Winter Jam.
All right. We'll catch you next time.
Bye.
See you guys.
And so long.
The only thing Isaiah loves more than the riot is himself.
Someone who probably still lives with his mother and hates himself.
You're listening to The Riot on Radio U.
In Australia, Australians are being urged not to seek out sinister spinach.
What is that? Sounds like a band, like an old band.
Does it?
Like from the, would that
60s,
be 80s?
like a punk band, like an
60s.
early punk,
Sinister
like early
spinach.
garage. Yeah. Sinister spinach. They're being urged not to seek that out. And that sounds like, I think that sounds like weed, doesn't it?
Yeah, but it's not.
The devil's lettuce, sinister spinach, but that's not. It's similar, but that's not what it is. They've had a situation where just standard spinach that's being sold in grocery stores has been recalled because it has been reported that it's caused hallucinations and delirium.
The spinach?
Yeah, more than 130 people who ate some spinach experienced hallucinations and delirium that they believe is traced back to spinach that was grown on a farm in Victoria in Australia.
So what was the farm doing?
They think that it was some kind of nightshade, like some kind of other plant got mixed in with the spinach
that's
that you wouldn't
scary.
normally eat.
So it's sold at fine Australian places like Woolworths, Coles, Aldi, and Costco.
Costco.
Food Standards Australia and New Zealand are coordinating a recall of the sinister spinach.
Yeah, so obviously for most people, you surprisingly get hallucinations and delirium. That's a negative. But for some Australians, they're actually reportedly seeking out
they're trying
this
to find
spinach. They're
it.
trying to get this and use that as a cheap high.
Gosh, of
and that'd
course
be
is
real
what
cheap,
people
I
are
guess.
doing.
I don't think spinach costs very much.
Boy, your family's like, why are you eating so much spinach recently?
Yeah,
Like, no
wow.
reason.
He's really looking a little strong, actually. His
Jeez.
iron is going through the roof.
So
he
they're
must really
saying-
care about that.
They're saying it could be a multitude of plants that have gotten in with the spinach to cause this. They say it can be very common for a a poisonous weed of this type to get in with like potatoes or tomatoes or spinach and stuff. It just all looks the same, and it got harvested, and it can be very difficult for them to identify.
It looks the same as potatoes and spinach?
It can grow a lot in potato stuff and tomato plants too.
Okay. Well, this is no joke. I understand why people are seeking this out. Listen to what it can cause. Delirium, confusion, hallucinations, dilated pupils, rapid heartbeat.
Gosh, sounds like a morning.
Flushed
like a normal
face,
morning.
blurred vision, dry mouth, dry mouth and skin, and fever.
Why do you want
Doesn't that
all
sound like fun?
No one wants that.
Yeah, you go. Come on, me and the buddies are getting together. We're going to eat some spinach. We're going to have a fever and dry mouth.
Sinister spinach.
Sinister spinach.
Oh, they did say some kids got sick too, which means they'll forever have a argument to their parents on never eating spinach again.
I think they could win that one. You don't want to eat a lot of spinach anyways. Unless it's mixed in with stuff. Sometimes like in a soup or something.
Yeah, it could be good.
Stew, Italian wedding soup perhaps.
I like an omelet with some spinach.
Oh, you sneak that in there? Spinach artichoke dip some people are into?
If it's going to make me sick.
No, definitely not. You don't want this. So you lay off the spinach for a little while.
Don't go find it.
Disinformation, mispronunciations, bad impressions. That's Hudson. This is The Riot on Radio U.
Could swing by the Radio U Instagram to see the Christmas cookies that we all decorated for our Riot Christmas party. That was on Thursday night.
You guys had a chance to vote over the weekend, so we'll unveil who you think won that competition.
Yeah. Which one of you guys added up all the votes?
I went based on like the Twitter poll, or not Twitter poll, but the Instagram stories poll.
Okay.
So I think, it kind of added up from that way.
And what did that say?
Well, I can't unveil it now.
What do you mean? I thought that's what we were doing.
Oh, we're doing it now?
Yeah, I was going to.
Okay, if we're ready. I did win.
How much?
It was, here, I'll pull it up. I think
probably
it was,
like 95% was Nikki, and then like 4% was me, and Hudson had like 0 votes.
Yeah.
I think it was 90%.
One pity vote for me in the comments. At least.
Really?
I didn't say
your
it was
number
a pity
one
vote,
fan.
but it was definitely a pity vote. Mine were a disaster, and even if I didn't ruin them with tinfoil, I still would have lost. But nevertheless,
it was still
Nikki
cute.
Dominated.
So based on our Instagram stories poll, which people were able to vote on Facebook as well, but I won with 88% of the vote. Isaiah, you had 7%.
That's pretty good.
And Hudson, you got 5% of the vote too. So not bad.
Based off of how much I should have gotten, I feel pretty good about that.
Yeah, you did get some.
Yeah. So did we decide what Nikki's prize is?
Oh, just the honor. It's just
That's
an honor.
it?
Yeah. Or you want to just have this be my last day of the week? No.
Wow, let's not get crazy.
Should I get the rest of the week off?
I was going to suggest that you do deserve a prize, and that prize is
make more cookies.
No.
Yeah,
bring in more.
That's a good idea. I was thinking your prize is that you don't get punished for finishing last out of the 3 of us in the Radio U Fantasy League.
Now, wait. Okay, so we have the Radio U Football Fantasy League.
Yeah.
I thought the punishment would be if you were last out of the entire station. And I'm not last out of the entire station.
That is true. You're not last out of everybody.
I don't think you I wouldn't have had a punishment anyways.
I don't know about that.
I think so. I mean, out of the 3 of us, obviously, I think whoever comes in first should get a prize.
Yeah.
Well, I don't understand why.
We never set that rule up, that it was whoever was last out of all the Radio U DJs.
So
which would be
you really want
ZK.
Yeah, you really want to punish ZK.
I think we should.
Oh, I don't want to. He's so nice.
Okay.
But he's in 20th out of 20.
We hardly even see him. I don't think that's really right.
I'd rather punish him before me.
That's true.
If it's not ZK, then it's you, though.
I know, but you can't punish me for it because I'm not ZK.
Because you won the cookie contest.
Yeah, all right, fine.
All right, deal. Let's handshake on that.
I'll take it.
And besides that, you didn't even play. So,
well, fair.
We're still going, right, Isaiah? I'm still.
Yeah, I'm gonna win. Again,
Not the cookie contest,
Shocker.
but the fantasy football league.
Yes, I think I'm gonna move on.
We put a lot more effort into that. So
Hey, you know what? I tried on my cookies. All right,
You
it was
did.
last minute. I don't want to be grouped up with Hudson's
You
poor
just said
effort.
it was last
I don't
minute.
want to be grouped up with Hudson's poor effort.
I
tried.
put in a good effort. I just have very low talent for anything artistic.
Well, if you can't still vote. Like, that's over. But if you head over to Radio U Official on Instagram, you can see the cookies still. Just go back a couple of posts. And I would encourage checking out Isaiah's because he had the cutest snowman with peanut butter cup hats on.
Oh, yeah, you pump
Everybody
them up now.
Real
loved
cute.
that touch. They love that.
And what can we even say about Hudson's?
There's nothing.
There's nothing.
A lot of people said a mistake must have happened.
I know. They're like, what happened to his cookies?
No, there was no mistake. That's just
That's your
just
design.
how it is.
That's all right. But thanks to everybody for voting.
That was just really the best I could do.
Your For You page would be a lot more fun if it had Hudson, Nikki, and Isaiah. Follow at Radio U Official on TikTok. The Riot. Radio U.
Monday tradition, football headlines. We've got some good ones. Was it a crazy week, Isaiah? I know you watched some football.
It was okay.
Oh, he's not agreeing with you.
I thought it was all right.
There was some wild games
There
this
was
weekend.
a couple good games.
There was a lot of good games. It was just they were all spread out. Nikki, do you have any feelings about whether it was a wild weekend or not?
Well, I saw the Bengals beat the Buccaneers. I saw
Wild, wouldn't you say?
Whoa.
Yeah, that was.
So I thought maybe you guys would be excited about that.
That was a good one. That didn't quite make the cut. The Buccaneers just keep losing, so that's not even newsworthy anymore. It's just
Any
what
other
they do.
year it would have been newsworthy, but just not this season.
Yeah. All right. Headline number 1. This is going back to Saturday. Madness in Minnesota. Vikings pull off biggest comeback victory in NFL history. They were down by 33 points.
Whoa.
And came back and won the game. You know how many times that's happened?
Against who?
The Colts.
The old
Colts.
Indianapolis Colts.
It's never been a bigger comeback in the history of the NFL. And I guess credit to the Vikings for never giving up. You know, most teams down 33 points probably would just pack it in, especially when it's the Vikings. They're already going to make the playoffs. They could have just been like, we'll play another week.
I bet all the fans left already.
I know. All the Vikings fans like, we're getting crushed. We need to get out of here. But they came all the way back. It was incredibly impressive. And for Matt Ryan, the quarterback of the Indianapolis Colts, now he's given up the biggest comeback in NFL history in the regular season and in the Super Bowl. So bad for Matt Ryan.
Yeah, it is. It's a testament to the Vikings for coming back, but it is unreal that you as the Colts, you could blow a lead of that caliber. Talking about completely blowing it, next headline, dumbest play of the year cost Patriots the game versus the Raiders. Did you guys see this?
Yes.
The final play of the Patriots-Raiders game. The game is tied up, ready to go to overtime. The Patriots have the ball. And I appreciate this. A lot of teams, when it's tied, it's like the last play of regulation. They just take a knee and they're like, we'll go to overtime. The Patriots didn't want to do that. So they actually did a run play, got a few yards off of it. Their running back, in what I felt, and maybe, Isaiah, I want to hear what you say, but I thought it was kind of heads up. He laterals it before he gets tackled back to another player, Jacoby Myers, trying to keep the play alive. It was a pretty safe lateral, right? Like, he just gives it a shot. Maybe catches the defense off guard. But this guy, Jacoby Myers, goes ahead, and he kind of goes into, he called it after the game, he was like, he went into hero mode. And he's like, oh, I'm going to lateral it too. And he's about to get tackled. And he throws it backwards directly to a Raiders player who catches it, runs over the quarterback into the end zone for a touchdown.
No.
They lost the game.
Yeah, and that was the final play of the game.
In a spectacular fashion.
Yeah. What do you make of all this?
I think now we know why teams take a knee. I mean, clearly that was the worst, one of the worst ways to lose of all time. Like an awful way to lose.
It's better just to go into overtime.
It's better just to go into overtime. Like you're on.
Well, better than that.
It wasn't like they were on the 30-yard line either. Like they were on like their own 30-yard line. They were not going to go 70 yards and score a touchdown. Like the risk was so much higher than the reward. There was no way they were going to score on that play. So I think doing any flips on that play was a bad call.
A lesson learned.
Yeah,
now they know.
That's right. It might cost them a playoff spot. And then the Jags topped the Cowboys in OT.
I didn't see that.
I don't have any clever headlines, but the Cowboys, they also blew a little bit of a lead. But compared to the other leads this weekend, it was nothing. But the Jaguars with the big upset victory.
Good for them.
Over the Cowboys. That was an exciting game, too.
So it seemed like,
high scoring.
You had a lot of upsets.
Yeah, a lot of good upsets. The Browns even won. Now that's how you know it's a crazy weekend.
Are they still alive?
They have like a 1% chance, I think I saw.
Well, there's still
a chance.
So it has. I told you before it was 0.4, so now we're at 1% after that victory. We'll see what we are next week.
That's a Christmas miracle.
Yeah, well, what a weekend of football. And you know what? It's not even over.
You still got more?
We got Green Bay tonight against the Rams. Oh, boy.
The Riot with Hudson and Nikki on Radio U.
The world's largest freestanding aquarium burst.
Oh, was that the thing in Berlin?
Yeah, it exploded basically.
I meant to see if there was like video of it.
Yeah, that's what I want too. I want to see the moments that it happened.
It must be awful because they say literally everything in the entire aquarium died.
1,500 fish.
That's some amazing, like that's a bad day.
Yeah.
At the aquarium.
And like, I don't know if you're ever like this, but when you do go to aquariums, you're like, how is all that like held up? You know, like how are they keeping this all together? And what happens if it all goes down? And it actually took place. It's called the Aquadom Aquarium in Berlin.
Is that a hotel, right?
It's at a Radisson hotel, it looks like.
Nothing says
Radisson.
Nothing says like world's largest aquadom.
Yeah.
Like the Radisson in Germany.
There's also a museum, cafes, and all of that got a lot more wet on Friday morning when the aquarium burst. And they don't know at this point, they are not saying why they think this happened. They don't have a good idea of what they think went down. All they know is the aquarium split apart, all the water goes everywhere, glass gets everywhere,
everything
the fish
dies.
all die, and needless to say, they've announced that Aquadom is closed until further notice.
Is that a closed indefinitely?
Yeah.
You know, when they say that, I'm actually seeing footage of someone in the elevator filming the aftermath.
Yeah.
And it's so bad because, like, the outside of the elevator is all covered in water.
Yeah, you
like
can
droplets.
tell. Like, it did the explosion
It's
where...
gone, yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you were on the first floor of that hotel, probably most of that stuff's gone too.
You gotta be, all your stuff is probably soaked. And imagine the smell.
Oh, all the fish.
Yeah. You think you get comped at the hotel?
Yeah. You know what? Believe it or not, I do think you get some sort of compensation.
Yeah, probably, right? They might offer you like a breakfast or something.
No, I think the rooms are free. I think they're paying for the things that got ruined if you were in a room. Or emotional distress because, man, watching the entire aquarium, which you probably went to go see, or at least stayed there to go see.
I mean, you look at all the rooms and they all have windows that normally would be facing, like they're facing the courtyard or whatever, and the courtyard is the giant aquarium.
They're gone.
And so, yeah, that's what you were there to look out at, and that was your view. And now your view is an exploded aquarium with no fish whatsoever except all the dead ones on the ground. And how do you even start cleaning that up?
Well, I think you need a shovel. So you're going to have to clean that up.
Hopefully they have drains in the floor.
Oh, no, probably not.
You can just push broom it. and whatever, and you're good to go.
Oh, people are like, this is why fish belong in the sea or in the lake.
Oh, yeah, because this happens all the time.
I mean, this was obviously not something that they planned.
Yeah, we can never have an aquarium again.
So at the Radisson in Berlin, the Aquadom, the cylinder aquarium, it burst and it's gone.
Aquadom, 1,500 fish enter. No fish leave.
Aww.
Alive, anyways.
Yeah, imagine the meeting afterwards. Like, hey, what went wrong? What do we think happened?
Yeah.
You won't hear a show like this anywhere else. And that's probably for the best. The worst of the riot. Radio U.
The box office recap. Is that what we decided on calling it?
Yeah, I think that works.
I wish it was something snappier.
Listen, we have nothing else. So.
Isaiah, you got anything snappier?
It is what it is.
No. This is the best we can come with. Recap.
But this is a weekend. It doesn't happen too often where we have our correspondent.
That's right.
Where someone did something.
Someone went to it.
Someone actually went and saw one of the movies we talk about.
Mean? We've had a good run. Nikki saw Violent Night,
and that was it.
And now,
and what have you done, Hudson? What have you been doing?
I watch all the streaming stuff. I do a lot of streaming. I've been keeping up on the streams. Is what I've been doing. Okay, so number one at the box office, no surprise, was the only major release of the weekend, and that is Avatar: The Way of Water, the sequel.
There really wasn't even a lot of streaming choices.
No.
Everybody was just kind of making way to see if Avatar would bring back the big box office theater weekend.
Yeah, and Isaiah, before we get into the numbers, the nitty-gritty, Isaiah, you went and saw Avatar: The Way of Water.
I did.
And you liked the first
tell
one.
Us what,
I did.
Yeah, so you were predisposed. Like, if somebody was going to like it, it'd probably be you. What'd you think?
I thought it was a good movie. I thought it was really long.
Oh, yeah.
It's 3 hours long, which to be in a movie theater is a long time. So it was long, but at the same time, I thought it was good. It was kind of hard to follow at some points
because it's so long.
But it was good, and it's like up my alley of like movies that I would like.
Yeah.
And so overall, I liked the movie. I mean, it wasn't as like incredibly breathtaking. I mean, as the first one, just because times have changed and the CGI, like we're used to it now, so it wasn't like blowing me away when I was in the theater. But overall, I thought it was a solid movie.
You want to give it a rating?
Out of 10.
Out of 10?
Out of 10 avatars.
I'd give it like a 7.8.
It's pretty good.
Wow, that's pretty high.
Pretty good.
7.7.
It's hard when a movie's so long, and it depends on like who is the director or like the editor and stuff. Because a movie can be amazing even at 3 hours.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's just because the one people making it can't part with anything.
Yeah.
And it feels like it just is stretched
Everything
too much.
they have to say and everything they have to film is so important. Yeah. So 3 hours.
That could be you, Peter
A
Jackson.
movie entirely about water. How many bathroom breaks?
I didn't use any.
You didn't go to the bathroom.
I didn't want to miss any of the action. Are you crazy?
3 hours nonstop.
I was locked in.
Well, sometimes with certain stories too, if you go, like you'll miss the whole thing.
It was pretty action packed. Like throughout, like it was a long movie, but at the same time, there's like always something happening. There was never really like any downtime, it felt like.
I got one more question before we talk about the numbers, and that is, it's very clear there's already been other Avatar follow-up sequels that are in the works, right? So how egregious is the ending where, like, I hate when it's a movie, but then it ends and you know it's not a satisfying ending because you know it's just going to go into the next movie. Was it actually a movie ending, or is this just a prequel to another Avatar movie?
It was a movie ending, yeah.
Okay, good.
It closed off a door and then opened up kind of a new one.
I'm happy to hear that, I guess.
For Avatar: The Way of Water, even the one guy who made it, James Cameron, said really it has to make like $2 billion for it to be a success. And I think they were a little disappointed in the North American box office for it. But the worldwide opening of The Way of Water was $435 million.
Yeah, so they're almost a quarter of the way.
They are,
there.
but here it made only 134 million.
Yeah.
So a majority of that was made internationally.
Isaiah, I'm sure you listened on Friday to the show when you were out. And Nikki and I predicted it would make way more money than
I
that.
know.
Really?
I picked like
You
200
guys thought it would make
something.
more money?
I thought
It's been a while for a big blockbuster.
Yeah, but like nobody goes to the movie theater. Like nobody goes to movies.
I thought I was being.
And do you know how many people were in there? Like 12.
Oh, really?
And, like the people at my group made up like 8 of the 12 people.
So
that were
are
in
you
the theater.
saying that like the 134 million that it made is even less impressive because it's probably because it sold so many IMAX and 3D tickets that are even more expensive, right?
Yeah, probably because there's
Wow.
nobody goes to the movie theater. Like that's not a thing that people do. People don't do that.
Yeah, but this is a movie event.
Yeah, but it doesn't
You've
matter.
gotta see it on the
like
big
back
screen,
in the day,
Isaiah.
when this one came
It
out
won't
back
look
in the
the
day,
same at home.
When you went to the movie theater, there was times where it sold out. I promise you. You will not have to worry about a movie selling out for a very long time. It's not going. It's not going to happen
Definitely
anymore.
not Avatar.
Well, if anybody else saw it over the weekend, let us know. If you liked it, you can text 877-2-RADIO-U. So I'm sure they're excited about the international take on it, but I think locally they're a little disappointed that Avatar did not make as much as they thought it would.
I'm also seeing that even for internationally, that's on the low end of its expectations. So, but they're hoping there's like I see a lot of people galaxy braining it going, well, there's no other big movies coming out for like 2 months. So this will probably make like 50 million a week for 2 months. Yeah, sure it will.
We'll see. Actually, yeah, we're more curious to see the drop after Christmas.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. All right. Well, Avatar, The Way of Water in theaters now.
Find more Riot content online. Riot.radiou.com.
It is the Riot on Radio U, and this is our big day. This is our opportunity to talk with Kevin from Disciple.
Nice.
Kevin, good morning.
Wow, I am so honored. It's your big day, man. I mean, my love language is words of affirmation, so we're starting it off right today.
Some are excited about Christmas.
Right.
We were excited about talking to you. You're making our Christmas right here.
Okay.
Talking of Christmas, before we get to all the Winter Jam stuff, because you guys are heading out on Winter Jam tour in the new year, I want to ask, what are you doing for Christmas? What does a tender Tennessee Christmas look like in the Young household?
Well, I married a Kentucky girl, so I usually travel to my parents' house to see the Tennessee Christmas, but I see a bunch of Kentucky Christmases now. But man, I don't know how it's necessarily any different than everybody else's. It's just tons of family. And being an artist, I don't see any of my, like literally that's the only time I see my non-immediate family all year long is Christmas and Thanksgiving. So it's a lot of like, now who's that again? What's their name?
In a nice way. Well, I mean, we just imagine with, music being your life, like, do you guys go and just play the guitar the whole time, just strumming Christmas songs? Or is it really just nice to finally have a break from touring and from music?
I never sing around my family. Never. I don't, maybe, should I be offended? I don't know. No, there's no singing. There's lots of family time, lots of football on the TV as well, which is
nice,
which is very important. Very important.
Good. Now, what's your team then? What do you go for?
Oh, dude, I don't want to get into that. I mean, it's like you just basically are like, what are you, predestination or free will, Kevin? What are we? You hell or no?
You're right. It is. It can be controversial, and it's personal.
Like I want to keep these fans. Now, I made a huge, terrible decision years ago, being from around Knoxville, Tennessee. We didn't have a sports team in Knoxville except for the Tennessee Volunteers. I didn't know that you could cheer for a different team growing up in Knoxville. I didn't know that was an option. So I got stuck with the Orange team. So there's that. But then the closest team to me, Tennessee Titans weren't there yet because I'm really old. And the Atlanta Falcons were the closest team to me. And so I made one of the worst decisions of my life of picking them, and it's not been great.
Yeah, you've been
great.
taking it on the chin for the last 20 years.
Yeah, if I could go back and redo a lot of the mistakes that I've made in my life, I can't imagine that, being one I would leave out. I would definitely pick someone else.
Well, you can make that change anytime. Maybe this is Kevin from Disciple.
Too late for me.
No, it's not. What about your new year and a new you, and you have a new team?
I can't. I mean, you can't. Can you do that?
Yes.
Name someone who's done that. Give me examples of this person.
You're
who's
right.
Done that,
You're right.
And I will consider it. Otherwise, I don't know.
If you did switch to Alabama, I don't think they would accept you.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Well, college is more of it's more of a bloodline thing.
Yeah,
I don't
that's
think
right.
I can switch college, but pro, you should probably be able to switch pro. But it's too late for me.
Maybe if you switched from the Falcons, it would teach him a lesson.
It's all right.
I don't think so.
Well, Kevin with Disciples joining Winter Jam, and I do think it works nicely, even though it's not their year. But you're joining Andy Mineo and so many others on Winter Jam. We talked to him a few weeks ago. He's still for the Packers, even though they're awful, and that's your team too. So I mean, sometimes it's just not a good time.
Yeah. We know what it's like to be a Falcons fan this year.
Yeah, I don't know why I care so much. I really, every season I have this same conversation with myself that I'm going to get to the end of my life and really wish that I could have had all those days and hours back and done something more. It's kind of like meeting a person as I get older, meeting a person who's not into sports. I used to look at them and be like, "What's wrong with you?" And now I'm like, "No, they had it.
They had it the whole time. They did. They were
had
right
it the whole time. They were right, and I was wrong." So, you just heard me. You just heard my car tell me that I thought.
Well, again, this is Kevin from Disciple. He is joining Winter Jam. Disciple will be, and then for Radio U Ohio, that date is coming up on January 28th. Are you ready to join such a big tour machine sort of thing? Are you guys all ready?
Oh yeah, we are so ready. It's going to be a great time. We did it for a couple weeks back in 2014, and it was a blast. And we're really looking forward to it again. We've got a new album coming out next year, a new single dropping around January 13th, and we're going to be playing a new song on the tour. And so we just got so much going on right now. I'm in full speed ahead Disciple mode and really excited about all the stuff that's happening. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Man, that sounds like a good time. Andy Mineo, when we talked to him a while back, was telling us that backstage and everything, he's setting up pickleball tournaments and stuff like that. Are you ready for that?
That's like the workout of the tour.
Yeah.
Are you going to do any of that stuff? Or are you going to just stay away?
I'll do it. I've never even seen pickleball or heard of it. I've seen commercials for the TV show, but I don't know how it works or anything. But I'm sure that I will and do my best.
Well, and he's going to have to teach you, I guess.
That's what life is. That's
learning.
What life is for me.
It's learning.
Without competition, is it? You gotta win.
Well, is there anything else you want to share with fans about Winter Jam and then the new other, Disciple stuff, like you mentioned, coming out with a new single, a new album? Or are we just going to be excited and anticipate all the new stuff for the new year?
I'm actually headed to the studio right now, and I'm so excited about this new album that we have coming out. My guitar player never lets me share the album title before, the release, but it's all happening really soon. And it's one of those albums that we as a band, we've actually keep listening to the songs because we enjoy them.
Nice.
There's this thing where you work on a song so much you get sick of it.
Yeah.
And I know the songs are really good because we're all very excited about them. And so it's just a really special time. Not every album is that way. Not every song is that way. you sometimes write songs you think are good and they're fine, but I think we've hit something special, and so it's really really cool that we're God worked it out where we could be on Winter Jam while this album's coming out. So I think it's going to make it extra super special. Create a lot of good memories. So it's a really fun time for us right now.
All right.
Kevin from
you hear
Disciple.
that, Nikki? We came here thinking we were talking about Winter Jam, and we get to find out that there's
All
new
the
music
new
from Disciple.
stuff.
It is better than
good.
Christmas.
Well, Kevin, hang tight for us. We are so excited for you. Hang tight 1 second, okay?
Yes, your Christmas present will be anticipation. Thank you very much.
Yay.
All right.
It's nice that you came to this interview with a gift for us. We appreciate it.
There you go.
Thanks,
Hang
Kevin.
tight,
Merry
hang tight.
Christmas. It's the Riot.
Merry Christmas.
We're not sure who behaves worse, the Riot or their dogs.
I don't even know how to behave like a real human being.
The Riot, Radio U.
Now, you guys have successfully avoided basically the entire World Cup, right? You guys didn't watch a second, did you?
No, I watched plenty of clips. And
does that count?
It
It
does.
counts,
It
yeah.
does. And man,
Okay.
TikTok had this little bug.
I know, it wouldn't leave me alone.
You just have to click out of it. But
Yeah,
it
I was like, why does every video, this has nothing to do with the World Cup. Why do they have that little sticker on there?
well, if you clicked on it, it would send you to the stuff. So I watched plenty of clips that way.
So the little sticker worked on you.
No, it's just also my For You page had some.
Well, it knows what you want. What about you, Isaiah? Did you watch any World Cup?
I watched the final.
You did?
The finale.
Yes.
But I didn't watch the whole thing because it's so long.
Yeah,
I watched
it
like
was
the
long.
last 15 minutes.
So wait.
So
how
the
is
good
it?
stuff.
You sat
Yeah.
during Avatar, so
Yeah, exactly.
I was gonna say I forgot, kind of, that the World Cup final was happening on Sunday
It
morning.
was so early.
It was very early, and so then I got a little alert on my phone that Argentina was up 2-0, and I was like, oh, I don't even need to watch.
Big
but
mistake.
I was wrong because then I got an alert that France had tied it up. Apparently 2 goals in 1 minute.
Oh gosh.
Which that's as exciting as, that's as many goals as soccer ever gets in
It's
1 minute.
exciting, but I feel like if you're not the exciting team, that can shake the other one.
Yeah, big time.
So from that point on, that was in the 81st minute, France tied it up. And that was when I hopped on and I said, I got to see what's happening here. And
A little early. You hopped on a little early.
I was a little early.
I think so.
When did you hop on? Not till extra time?
Till 110. And you know what? I saw the 2 goals that made it 3-3.
Yeah, I guess you
That's all
saw
you need to
as much
do.
excitement as you needed too. But you're not a soccer fan.
No.
You obviously
But I was on my feet.
Yeah.
It was pretty exciting.
Wasn't it a penalty kick or something?
Yeah,
at
there
the
was
end?
there were
went to
penalty
penalty
kicks.
kicks.
Yep, it was pretty nuts.
And there was even in that last, what is that? 110. That means there was 10, 15 minutes after that.
yeah, they
before
ended the
penalty
game at
kicks.
120, then again at 123.
And then if you're not a soccer fan, get ready to hear it explained this way. For Argentina, there's the one old soccer player guy who's like the best ever, but never has won a World Cup, and then he finally got to win the World Cup.
Yeah, that's all anybody wants to talk about is I don't even know if it's Lionel. It's Messi.
Yeah.
Who of course plays for
Argentina.
No, that's not the only.
Sure.
He also plays for.
Yeah.
Help me out here,
I
guys.
don't know.
Nobody knows?
Yeah.
Why are you
Some
looking
team
at
in
us?
Europe.
Why would you not?
Why would you bring that up? Why, if you didn't know?
I think he
thought
plays
we would
for
know? Thought we would know.
For Brussels or real Kansas City or something
Either
like
way.
that. Or,
I don't care about his whatever his other
Sporting
team is.
Lisbon or something like that.
Whatever his other team is that nobody
Voorthaven,
knows.
something in Europe, and so he's won everything there is to win except a World Cup. And so that was everybody's on the edge of their seat. Is he going to finally add this to his mantle, the most important trophy of all?
Because they said he probably could never do that again.
Yeah, he's getting up there in years. And meanwhile, on France, they have the guy who may be the other best player. in the world, right? Mbappe, who
I love his name.
An
Great
amazing
name.
haircut, too. Do you see his hair?
Yeah, his hair's solid.
His hair is awesome. And he is just, he was amazing. I don't know anything about soccer.
He had a
was
hat
great.
trick. It was like the first time ever in a World Cup game someone got a hat trick.
He
3
had a
goals.
hat trick, and he did something I really appreciate. He scored on penalty kicks.
Ooh.
Which is something that every soccer player should
sounds
do.
like you're
I know.
interested.
Well, I just, I don't know. Okay, so an amazing game, and the problem is in soccer it all comes down to penalty kicks, which is just the dumbest thing in the history.
But they explained, though, the commentators even said, because they knew people were going to say this, they said, they were like, this takes way more skill than you think. Like, this isn't just like a coin toss. Like, this is actually a skillful thing. And so even before they started the penalty kicks, you could tell the commentators, because they know a bunch of people are watching, they never watch soccer, are like, this isn't like a coin toss, like, just like to end the game. They were like, it's a skillful thing.
I like that they have to explain that.
Yeah, they have to.
When you're watching football,
because
nobody has to explain. It's hard to throw and catch the ball.
I know, but they know a lot of new fans are just
people are going to go
watching the
online,
end.
and just be like, that really ended on like a flip of a coin.
Well, I mean, it's not the same as the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just, and they scored in extra time. And again, that doesn't end the game, which doesn't make any sense. Anyways, it was exciting. Congratulations to Argentina. France deserved to lose because they couldn't. They kicked the ball. How do you miss the net?
Well, it
Isn't
just
that
happens.
It's a big net.
Just happens.
Isn't that crazy?
It's a big net. You're just standing there. All you need to do is at least kick it at the net. The goalie's not going to stop you, and they still messed up.
That shows how hard it is.
World Cup is over, right? We're done.
World Cup is over.
Oh, yeah.
We'll talk about soccer again in 4 years.
We'll see you then, guys.
Yeah.
The Riot's X-rays just came in, and they all got that dog in them. Radio U.
Okay, so this is our annual thing that every time we have like an outing like this,
Any birthday lunch.
we spend half the show at least looking at the menu. At least Nikki and I do, where we look at the menu.
To pick our food.
Yeah. Isaiah, do you do this? Are you
Or
in
do
on
you
this
only
with
do it
us?
because we're doing it?
I only do it because you guys do it. Because for me, like, I frequently go out to eat, you know?
Yeah.
So
That makes us sound lame.
So no, I'm not trying to make you guys sound lame, but at the same time, you know, I like the experience of being able to sit down there, not really know what you're getting when you show up, and you get to kind of like survey the menu, see everything for the first time. It's tough for me to know what I'm getting when I'm on the way there, because sometimes you sit down in that chair and
You feel different.
you smell the room, and then all of a sudden you're like, maybe I will go with the patty melt. Which is what I'm planning on going with.
Oh, good choice. That was one I was considering.
Well, if you get it, I can't get it.
Why
then,
not?
Because we can't get the same thing.
You can.
I don't
No,
think
we
anybody
cannot.
else is going to get the
Don't
patty
sit
melt,
near
though.
each other.
Yeah, I don't want to get the same thing as you, because then we'll have like the same review.
Then we can't share bites.
Yeah, exactly. I don't get to try two things.
And before you guys are like, wow, that's really lame of you, because we're looking at the menu this morning, I want to let you know how worse it is. We looked at the menu a ton last week.
We did. We've been looking
it
for
wasn't
days.
just today. It was many times this past week.
Now, let me tell you my dilemma. This is the problem with me looking at the menu. I know if I went at just blind, I mean, we've been to this place several times before, which means I have an order that I know that I like.
Yeah.
And so if we just went and I hadn't looked at the menu ahead of time, I would just go with that, and it'd be simple. It'd be a done deal, and I'd be happy. But because I keep looking at the menu, I'm like, oh, but what if I want to try something different?
You're changing your mind.
And so now I actually have decision paralysis, where I've got like, instead of just the one thing that I know I would normally get, I've got like 3 things I'm juggling in my mind. One of them is the patty melt that I don't normally get, but I'm like, maybe it's time to switch it up today.
But you need the other hamburger that you're putting the egg on. You need that.
Well, I can put an egg on any burger.
Well, don't get the patty melt, because I've already called it.
Well, if I get a patty melt with an egg, it'll be different.
Yeah, but it's the same thing, though. You can't order what I'm ordering. I already called it.
It's different. It's different, though.
Now, wait, are you doing fries or onion rings?
Fries.
Fries, okay.
Actually, I don't know, because I don't like their ketchup. So if I get fries, then I'm going to have to dip it in something other than ketchup. And I don't particularly like their barbecue sauce either, which I learned last time.
See, that was the other thing I was thinking about, is the honey
What are we
chipotle
gonna do?
barbecue burger.
That could be good.
That feels like a lot. That's got burgers, two patties, and pulled pork, and bacon on it.
And
dang.
a couple
Which
other
one's
things.
that again?
Add the egg.
Anna Nick on a Chipotle barbecue.
Damn, that sounds kind of good. Maybe I'll switch mine to that.
Doesn't it sound really good?
But you said all those things. I said I like all those.
So basically, everybody's going to snipe each other's menu orders.
Yes. Oh.
But does anybody else, when you have a lunch or a dinner planned, is it purely because we don't go out too often and we're just so excited?
I go out a lot. You don't go out a lot?
How often are you eating out?
What do you count eating out?
Eating out anything.
Like sitting down.
Sitting down. Going into the place.
Going to McDonald's is not eating out.
That's correct.
Okay, like a time or two a month, probably, like 3 times a month. Yeah.
A time or two a month?
I went to, I was out last weekend. I went out.
No, I'm saying that's like a low
That's
number.
low?
I think so. For me,
none of us are Mr. Moneybags like you.
I thought for sure you were going to say higher than that.
No,
for sure go out more than that.
We should stop while we're ahead because we will just sound worse and worse. I totally went out before Thanksgiving.
I thought he was going to say a time or two a week. I did not think he was going to say a time or two a month.
Like if you count Popeyes and McDonald's, then yeah.
No, we're not
Then I
counting
go
that.
out like 4 times
that.
a week. But if we're talking sit down where I have to tip, then yeah, like 3 times a month maybe.
Dang, that's wild.
Wow.
I don't have a response. Again, we don't all have money to throw around like you over there.
Hey, well, you know, when it's a solo show over here, I just have to take care of myself.
Add a little riot to your Instagram feed. Follow at Radio U Official. The Riot. Radio U.
It's relationship season, wouldn't you say?
Yeah,
like this is, you might not want to launch into a new relationship right now. We've covered that extensively, that you don't want to get serious, especially this late in the game. But this is the time where a ton of relationships become a lot more serious.
Sure.
You're meeting the family for the first time. Maybe you're even thinking about popping the question. Maybe that's going down. Sometime between now and Valentine's Day is the big time for that. And so wouldn't you like to know the best places to propose according to marriage experts?
No pressure.
Yeah.
But you want to know ahead of time.
If you really want to go above and beyond and start your journey to marriage on the best foot possible, this is what marriage experts say are the best places to propose. Starting with number 1, the Bow Bridge in Central Park in New York City.
Aww.
Overrated.
Yeah. Oh, come on.
That feels like a summertime spot, though, right?
That does. That'd be awfully cold if you had
I'm
to
looking
do
at these
that.
pictures. This is definitely a summertime thing, but top place to propose out of all the places you could propose, I don't know about that.
Well, now, I didn't think it was this sort of list. I thought you'd be like, at your local restaurant. So now this means top places to propose while you're taking a trip.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, yeah.
When you're on vacation.
Yeah.
Well, if your marriage proposal doesn't, like, you got to maximize the Instagram likes. You're never going to get a better opportunity for Instagram likes than this. So you got to propose in the best place possible.
So they say instead of the Empire State Building, if you're in New York, you go to the Bow Bridge because it'll be less crowded with tourists.
All right. Number 2, Hamilton Island in Australia. I've never even heard of Hamilton
Well, now that's
Island.
a bigger trip.
Yeah. And the people in these pictures, they must be on their like 3rd marriage.
Oh, but look,
like.
because they're older. You're so mean.
What?
Gosh, you're so mean. A destination wedding.
Yeah.
But it is summer there, so that would be nice.
Yeah. That sounds, I mean, it looks very picturesque. I mean, kind of just your generic island. So I would go, any island. Many islands, not any island. Number 3. This is the obvious one, right? When you think of romantic marriage proposal, you think Paris, France.
Yeah, the Eiffel Tower.
Yeah, that's setting some high expectations.
Even though I've heard the rest of Paris is getting rough. Like, it's just not as maybe Instagrammable.
Okay.
But you go to the Eiffel Tower and you can propose there.
Yeah, the Champs-Élysées.
Oh.
That was at your French, like,
I did go into that, did it?
Okay, number 4. Venice, Italy. I like this one. That wouldn't have jumped to mind immediately, but that makes a lot of sense.
Because the gondola stuff?
It's just, Italy is just so romantic, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's again because I just finished watching White Lotus. But
Is there anything more economical or
this isn't realistic.
What? These are the best places.
Okay,
but nobody can actually go to these places and do this.
Well, then how come there's people in these pictures right here?
That's stock photos.
Yeah, that's
it's on
people.
Instagram. It's on Instagram.
All right,
I think it just depends on your style, because some people there's girls out there that this is like their dream to be proposed to at like Venice, Italy, but like realistically that's like meaningless to you and your partner. Like that's not a place that has any meaning to you.
I think it would have meaning if you took them there and proposed.
I mean, it would have meaning then, but like a lot of times like you would go somewhere maybe that it was a really special moment for the two of you, like the first time that you guys like kissed or the first time you went on a date, like places like that, I feel like are a little bit more sentimental.
Because if not, imagine
going to Australia.
You need to pick a place that you can afford to go back often because you know that she's going to be like, let's go back to where you proposed. And if you're like, I can't afford Australia again, then you can never go back.
Yeah, but what if it doesn't work out and then you drive by that donut shop every day? You're like, this is where we had our first kiss and we got engaged here and now it's all over and I can never go to this donut shop.
Well, you're going to have to get over it like a big boy, all right? Just like everybody else does.
The last one is St. Lucia.
Where's that?
It's an island.
Okay.
In the Lucia area.
Did you see like the setup for this article though? It is brutal on dudes. It says that most American women hope to marry. This is from Cornell University. Hope to marry, but current shortages of marriageable men, men with a stable job and good income, make this increasingly difficult.
Aww.
Ouch.
What a wild thing to write.
It also
Who's
says
writing this?
Marriage is still...
Stephanie is, and let me tell you, Stephanie's been burned.
Yeah.
Clearly.
It also says marriage is still based on love, but it is also a fundamentally economic transaction. Many young men today have little to bring to the marriage bargain.
Ouch.
Oh,
what?
My gosh.
Jeez, that's savagery.
Cornell University, take it easy on us.
I feel like someone has just broken up with her. So.
Yeah, sounds like it.
She just broke up with somebody because he was going nowhere in life.
Oh, no, that hurt right there. That's someone breaking up with her.
You know what it is?
Maybe at the Eiffel Tower.
That's a dude that got broken up with.
Could be.
I don't know. Us men, we don't have anything to bring to the table. We got no jobs. We got no nothing.
That was for sure a girl that wrote this, right? There's no way this.
So?
There's no.
Yeah, her name's Stephanie.
Her name's by Stephanie.
Yeah.
There's no way a guy would write that line. There's a 0% chance he would say.
She's quoting Cornell University.
That's a wild thing for a man to say. I would for sure be a girl's line.
That's Ivy League right there.
That's mean.
They know what they're
League.
talking about.
Well, I don't know if you take anything from that. You could. There's 5 possible spots for you.
Get a job.
To pay for
a stable job, a stable income.
Hudson and Isaiah seem like they know a lot about sports, yet somehow it's Nikki that always gets it right. The Riot, Radio U.
Okay, I've got a great question here. This is basically, I guess it's the New York Post. They have Go To Greg, which is like Dear Abby or whatever.
Oh, okay.
Like when you go for advice.
Yeah.
And someone asked Go To Greg. They
thought they really came up with something with that,
yeah.
by the way.
They asked, I'm about to get my year-end bonus. Everybody's about to get their, some people call it a Christmas bonus. Some people just say it's a year-end bonus. You're about to get your bonus. And as soon as they get their bonus, like they're waiting to get their bonus before they quit their job, they're going to move on. And so the person is asking, how long do you have to wait after you get your bonus at the end of the year before you're like okay to quit?
That's a good question.
And what is the answer?
Well, I think it's kind of feels more like, if you break up with someone, like how far after the holidays should you let it go? Because you don't want to break up with someone now.
On their birthday.
Yeah, or you're going to get too close to Valentine's Day. So like for your job, you don't want to, let it, go too long, too early.
What do you think? So I don't know what your answer is.
I don't have an answer.
Oh, I've got an answer.
Do you?
I think that you need to wait 2 weeks.
2
weeks, huh?
Yeah.
So like in January, 2 weeks?
I think around January 14th or so.
Okay.
I think
Martin
you're
Luther
solid
King
to go.
Jr. Day.
Even 1 week. I think as long as you get through that first week. You don't want to do the initial first week because everyone's still like getting back into the hang of things after the holidays. Everybody's upset that, the New Year's already started and you're going to be working for a while. I think the New Year, about a weekend, you're good to go.
But then you could also blame it on like you came up with some resolutions. You're trying to create a new thing, and it's not your business. It's like it's not the company. It's you, and you're trying for something else.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to make them too mad. Because then if you need their
you might need the reference.
Yeah.
If you want that going forward in your career. I think it depends. I think, which is the answer to everything, but I think it depends. I think that, like, if you've made up your mind, you're out of there, and you've just been waiting it out to get, like, that holiday bonus, and then you're fine, like, whatever happens after that point, just go ahead. Do it, like, day after. Go ahead.
You think January 1st?
No, I mean, like, if you got your bonus, like, this past weekend or something.
You're out.
Yeah, quit today.
Well,
go ahead if you want to. That's up to you.
Bold move.
Well, you said it's like
the day after seems kind of like spiteful.
That's a bit much.
Yeah,
You've been waiting.
The company. Here's the important thing about the company you have to remember: it doesn't have feelings. It's not gonna, and they wouldn't have feelings if they were firing you. So you're able to get out of there.
And it depends because some companies, like we're saying, do you give 2 weeks? Or you're just leaving?
I would, if you're giving 2 weeks, definitely.
But then some companies, you're hurting their feelings so much that they're just going to let you go right then and there.
Well, that sounds great, doesn't
and then
it?
they're going to just take back your Christmas
You're going to leave
gift.
anyways. You're going to leave anyways.
Do you think you risk getting the Christmas bonus revoked?
What are they going to stop the check?
They could just take it back.
If you have to actually, once you have it in your account, then you're good to go.
Okay, no, wait. Okay, here's my last thought on this. Maybe you should wait till your last paycheck clears or deposits into your account. Because what if they then decided to take your bonus out of your check?
Yeah. They could do that too.
I don't know. That would be pretty egregious.
Even though your Christmas stuff is supposed to be reflective of your year before.
If you're suspicious of your company doing that to you, that's all the more reason to quit ASAP.
Yeah, but you don't want to leave before you can get all the money you want out of them.
That's
For
true.
sure you want to stick it out. What's one more week? Let me tell you this, nobody's working worth anything right now anyway.
That's true.
Like, what are you doing between January 25th and the New Year?
Yeah, you're
absolutely nothing, and your boss expects you to do absolutely
you're
nothing.
Coming in some of that.
Well, I'm working some of those days. I'll be here. I'll be in the building.
No, but you're right. I mean, I'm not saying you have to quit right after, but you're right. You're not going to get any work done anyways. You can totally phone it in those weeks, especially if you're like working from home or something. Give it a few days.
Working from home.
Give it a few days until into the new year. But if you have a good, compelling reason that you don't want to be obligated to, maybe you want to take a Christmas vacation and you don't have enough vacation days.
Just in then?
You were just holding out for that bonus. Go ahead and quit. Although if that's the case, you probably already had this planned out anyway. So
there's a lot. I mean, it just depends on everybody's situation.
I'm just saying, don't worry about the company because they aren't worried about you. Generally, it's the Devil Wears Prada.
Generally.
You just heard the worst of the worst. We'd give you the best of the best, but we'd have to find that. As soon as we do, you'll be the first to know.
Audio Jungle.